Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Welcome to, I guess, like the American Sumo podcast,
The
All-Stars,
melting pot.
except for Sumo Kaboom today. Yeah, hooray!
We are.
You call that an intro?
Woo!
Yeah.
Take
it off.
We're sumo stir fry.
Ah,
Yeah.
there it is. We're a real chonko of a podcast today. I am Jacob, Grand Sumo
A real
Breakdown,
hot pot.
I am Mac of the Grand Sumo Breakdown.
joined by my colleague Mac, and we have Caleb Baccus. How are you doing today, Caleb?
Hey, I'm Caleb Baccus of Sake Sumo. How you doing today?
And
Hi, Caleb.
This is Sumo PUNX.
I'm Sabrina.
Sumo PUNX!
I'm
Oh, my
Sabrina.
head.
This is Matt.
Hi.
And
He's
we
the
just
Krampus.
we figured
The Krampus.
rather than do like we all got end of the year stuff that we want to put out for our shows, right? So why not just like do all of it like together?
I appreciate that 3 of the 5 of us are actually embracing the festiveness of the season. I mean, really, come on. How can you not?
I love that.
That's my favorite sweatshirt.
Caleb's the only one with the proper Santa beard going on, though.
Well, okay, but you know I can't grow a beard.
I can't either.
Awesome,
We
man.
need to all pitch in to get Caleb a Santa hat now.
Yeah.
Maybe the jacket
The
too.
five of us, Mac, actually do sumo wrestling too. Now that Jake started wrestling, where are you
Oh.
putting on your Moashi?
Yeah. When you're
Hey,
hopping in
my
that yo-yo.
Mawashi went on. There are photos of me in a Mawashi actually participating.
He did
What?
try the
True.
thing. Yeah,
I haven't seen that
Yeah,
yet.
why haven't you
I
posted
haven't seen that
photos?
either.
that was at the when Richard Neal came over from Switzerland to
Oh,
visit
hell yeah.
Iowa, and we did it wasn't really a
The boot
demo. I
camp.
guess it was more like
Yep.
a seminar, I suppose. Out in
Okay.
Davenport, Iowa. It's pretty fun.
Okay, so the question is, Mac,
Hmm.
did you go tradish?
Yeah, no. That was the one thing Richard. No, that was the one thing Richard said you cannot do while we were at this. Do not do traditional.
Really?
Yes,
I mean, it
really.
was also my Mawashi, and that was my rule too.
It was all. Yeah, I was about to say nope. Our kids are staying in their own backyards, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. Oh man! So before we get started, we actually have before we talk about like who we want to give different awards to for amateur sumo for the end of the year, we did have a special someone that we wanted to bring up. We wanted to say a big thank you and a big good luck to Simone out of Mighty Eagle. Simone has been diagnosed with breast cancer this year. She wanted to, make sure that people were aware, but also so she wouldn't have to go through telling everybody in person on her own, which I completely understand would be a giant struggle.
Yeah.
But you can find out more and you can help Simone raise some money. There is a GoFundMe set up. The title is Help Simone Fight Breast Cancer. There's already some money in there, but your help would be dramatically appreciated.
The link will be included in the description for this video.
Absolutely. So Simone is one of your teammates, Caleb. Tell us a little bit about her and her journey with sumo and all that.
That she is. So she is what we are hoping for in Texas when we do the Wins. For those who don't know, the Wins is a woman-only sumo tournament. And she came to the first one to watch just to see what happens. And then she was interested. So she threw on Mawashi over her jeans and got into the ring and wrestled Jessica and Ketzel. And then a short 6 months later, she's in, 8 months later? I think maybe 8 months later. She was in Vegas. And she qualified for the U.S. team for the World Games.
Hell yeah.
It was an awesome year, 2021 was for her. And then 2022 happened, and she blew out an ACL at the beginning of the year, so she couldn't make the world team. And then she got cancer at the end of it. And so we really like to help her out. So if you can, please do, because she is a special person. She's not only an amazing sumo wrestler, she's also an artist. She what's that word? The animal.
Taxidermist.
Couldn't remember it for a second there.
Yeah, she's an
He's a
award-winning
meat artist.
taxidermist. And
Yes.
She's a meat artist. There we go. Yeah, she's won state in that. She makes beautiful things. She's gone to nationals in that too in 2021. She is fantastic. Yeah, she is very good. She makes gorgeous things. Gorgeous things. Anyway,
But yeah,
badass.
again, that link will be in the description on this video. But yeah, please help out if you can, and just as important as the money, make sure Simone knows how much she's appreciated in the community. So reach out and say hello, and yeah, wish her luck, and see if there's anything else we can do to help her.
Much love, Simone.
Absolutely. So that being said, we want to talk about amateur sumo, because 2022 is probably the wildest year so far in American amateur sumo.
Oh yeah.
A lot of stuff's happened.
Yeah. But yeah, and we're mainly going to be focusing specifically on American amateur sumo. With as much as it's growing here, there's not a lot of mental space to cover everything international as well.
USA, USA. At least for this specific topic. At least for this specific topic.
But why don't we start off with the technique prize for the year?
Right.
Ooh.
All
So,
right.
I've got a couple nominees, and then how about we talk through what they did and why they are in this conversation, and then when we agree on one, we can officially give them the American Sumo Technique Prize with all the fame and fortune, and not
All the
any
fanfare.
actual-
The hullabaloo.
not any actual monetary prize associated with it.
The hubbub.
You get bragging rights and a gift certificate for a personal pan pizza.
Ooh,
Wait, where's that
Pan
coming
pizza,
from?
Wait,
not
hold
necessarily.
I know you
we
ain't
didn't
got no
agree
money.
Hey, I didn't say it would be a legitimate certificate.
Ooh.
You're just gonna draw it in
I'm just
crayon
gonna,
on
I'm
a
just gonna,
napkin?
yeah, I'm just gonna write it on a napkin and crayons. Here you go.
Big ol'
found a
smiley
coupon
face on
book
it.
in my closet from 1996, and
It's
Oh,
like
man,
the
that's
Monopoly money of pizza
the
coupons.
Pizza Steve era.
yeah. So our nominees for the Technique Prize, we have Justin Jones out of Honu Sumo in San Diego, Jared Tadlock out of Dallas Sumo,
Oh yes.
Eric Wynn out of Raijin Sumo out in North Carolina, and Jose Galindo out of Yamamoto Sumo Dojo in
We have
Los
to pick from
Angeles.
these four.
Yeah.
This is good. They're not going to be very many easy categories, if
What?
any. So
What the hell?
buckle up.
I will say, I think Jared's technique got better when he started going traditional. And that is something that people have been saying a lot lately, is that going traditional does improve your technique. So something to think about. You hear that, Richard?
No, Jared is definitely a guy that I've called out on the show a handful of times, because like he's one of the few guys in American amateur sumo that you regularly see attempting and succeeding at pulling techniques.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
He's got that great timing of just like, getting a solid push and then magically being 2 feet further back than someone's expecting, and they get slapped down.
And then out of nowhere, you're just eating mat. Man, that happens to me all the time, faced full of mat. Like seriously, if
Happens
I lean,
to me all the time, too.
Later. That's what we're not recording.
But no, seriously, those pulling techniques are like devious as hell, and I'm paranoid when I fight him, like every single time. And no matter what I try or what type of technique I attempt, he's got a counter for it, or he knows just how to just wiggle out of it. And so he's seriously like, if I was like a chess player, he would be like the Russian AI chess bot of sumo.
Sure.
Waiting for you to just make that false move, so he just takes out your foot. Like, nope, I'm puncturing your foot. You cannot move.
Yeah.
See, and that's important too, is like studying how other people react in a bout, studying how they do their sumo is very important for improving your own sumo, because then you know how to react when they bust out one of their favorite moves. And I think there are some people, especially that are first starting out, that haven't really got to that level yet. Jared, though, he's been doing sumo for a while. He's got that shit on lockdown. So
He thinks like a wrestler too. He like considers what do you call it, like level changes and
oh, sure.
like a lot of more lateral movement and stuff. So like he really knows how to tactically take away your real estate when you're fighting him. And someone else that does that really well is fucking Eric Wynn. Like you just watch that dude. He just, and he's so intimidating. You just can't help but just feel, to back up from him because
It's freaking Tachi. The way he comes off of the line and just blasts into you and keeps going and then drops down, keeps his center of mass low, and then just sticks with you the entire time. It's insane.
And he really does just push you out,
Yes.
Yeah.
So
he impresses the shit out of me because he everybody knows when they face him, he's going to come out pushing, and he's going to try to just be a pusher and push you out. And yet, it's unbelievably hard to get to a belt or something and change the game on him because he's just I'm forcing this technique, my technique, I'm forcing it on you. He's one of those guys that if they said something like, well, I'm trying to do my style of sumo, he actually means it. He's trying to do my style of sumo, and he's forcing it on you guys. He's hard. He knocked me down like a bag of potatoes there at the Consulate's Cup. Like hard. I'm 430 man. I don't know how he did that, but he just knocked me down.
He's like a small automobile.
Yes.
Yeah, he's like one of those little European cars, kind of. What are
Was
they
it
called?
Alada? Is that what it is?
He's like I don't fucking know. This joke is going nowhere. But you know what I will say about Eric? He has the brightest smile, I think, in US amateur sumo, but the most intimidating eyes. And the best, well, I don't know, Matt's pretty cool.
I like his
hair.
hair.
It's amazing. I'm not trying to put that be second, but man, Eric's
but no, yeah. But his is natural.
Oh my God.
It's natural. Yeah.
But did y'all see that match he had at the US Open against Trent?
I haven't watched through the whole US Open yet, but tell me about that one.
He hit Trent so hard in the tachi. Trent not only went out of the ring, he went off the platform and in the air.
He caught air.
Yes.
And he knew it. And so Eric just stopped, went to the middle, and just went, I just did that, guys.
He just looked. Yeah, he did. He just made this face yeah.
Yeah. He's got so much professional wrestler attitude. It was so beautiful.
Yeah, that was. I have that GIF saved on my phone.
Oh, that's what you got.
Matt made a GIF out of it.
That's incredible. But yeah, to not only to do that to somebody, but to do that to one of the most experienced and wily guys in all of American sumo.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Speaking of wily, that is if somebody were to ask me who's the most wily, Justin Jones is one of the guys that comes to mind.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Top 3 for sure.
Jiu-jitsu.
I remember
judo, he does all sorts of stuff, and you can tell for sure.
I remember at the Cowboy Cup, that was the first time I ever saw JJ wrestle, and I was just blown away. He was just magnificent.
Seriously, just the way that he executes moves, he's he has surgical precision, and he's one of those that forces his style on you, but not so much in an upfront, bulldozer fashion, as much as he uses trickeration and subterfuge, to try.
He's quick. He's just so damn quick when he does it.
God. He is fast. He is really quick.
Yeah, you mentioned his own style of sumo. When we say that about Eric, it's he's just going to come at you and you're not going to have a chance to think about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Justin is kind of he'll make you think, but he's also better at thinking than you are. So he drags you into that.
Very tactical for sure.
Yeah, a lot of his tachi aren't.
He's really good at chess.
They aren't quick. When he comes off the line, he's not fast. He comes in, it's almost reserved, but it's that reservation. He's like, okay, what are you gonna do? And then he can think just a little bit ahead of you and just outmaneuver you.
There's got to be a lot of that crossover with. Jiu-jitsu is another sport where there's a lot of thought process to it, and a lot of his matches end up being that not necessarily slower, but more it's not as likely that you're going to see someone get blasted out on a tachi, but you're going to see them get complicated belt grips, and all of a sudden you're dragged into Justin's world, and now he can out trip you, he can out twist you, he's got all sorts of ideas. He's got a very, very deep bag of tricks for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a wizard.
He's
like a sumo wizard.
Now, the fourth guy that we had on this list here is Jose. Now, one thing with Jose that is kind of tough for this year is that we only saw him a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
But he did really, really well every time we did see him. Yeah, we wanted to have him on this on technique in particular, just because like, yeah, he's huge, but he's not there's a handful of guys that are huge. So like there's clearly a lot more to his game. Now, Caleb, as a heavyweight, what can you tell us that you see in Jose that makes him more technical than other guys that are just as big and strong?
He's quicker on his feet than most guys who are in the 400 pounds, and this is the biggest thing. I'm really huge and strong. Robert is really huge and strong. There's a lot of guys I can think of who are really big and strong, and they also have quick feet and know what they're doing. But for some reason, we had something in our heads that when we fight, we're going to have to push because we're the big guys. And Jose seems to understand that he didn't have to always push. He can beat you just as easily doing throws and other kind of nages. And shoot, at the Nationals on a lightweight, he got a hinka.
I was hoping you were going to bring that up. That was beautiful.
So gorgeous because nobody expected it. And he just was like, oh, I'm quicker than this little guy. So let him go.
Yeah. No, Matt, you mentioned you had a GIF saved of Eric. I have the GIF saved of Jose doing that.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it was against he was a lightweight, and he was a new guy. He hadn't done sumo before, but he was trying it out for the first time. And the camera angle that we had for streaming Nationals, I swear to God, it looks like Jose just stands up. Like it just it looks like he even moved, and the kid is like in the stands.
It was the perfect case of one of those. Whoop! Nope.
Yep,
just out of the
exactly.
way.
Big man that can move like that impressed me, man. People know that Takeshi is my favorite wrestler, and it's not just because he can knock people out. It's how fast his feet move, and he gets them under him when he people try to do pulls and stuff or moves, and you see Takeshi's feet going into them. Jose's like that. His feet to just go. As someone who's lost to him a bunch of times, trust me, that man can wrestle. That man can just freaking wrestle.
Absolutely. All right, so let's decide our winner. Where are you guys feeling right now?
Oh God, I can't even choose.
That's why. This is why I was like, I'm lamenting this.
Categories. What do you got, Caleb?
I'll go first. For me, Eric from North Carolina, he had the best year technique-wise. Like we said. I can't explain to people who haven't really done sumo how hard it is to get your tachi that good, because no matter how good you are, your brain kind of holds you back from going full off and hitting somebody. And Eric trained himself to do that, and then Eric trained himself to be able to just time out his pushes because he can start thrusting now too, which he couldn't do the first couple of years he was doing this. His technique has improved, and his technique is gorgeous. And so I'm going with Eric for technique prize this year. And he won one at the Consulates Cup, so that's helpful too.
That too, yep. What do you think, Mac?
I am always a fan of witchcraft and wizardry, and who better exemplifies that than JJ. The man just knows how to get into your head and think 3 steps ahead of you, so you cannot. Yeah, no, JJ, well done.
Gotcha. Sumo Punks, what are you guys thinking?
I gotta say, I mean, out of the 4 of them, I do have a favorite, and it is Eric. I can't say much about for technique, but he's just an all-around great guy, and he did win the technique prize at the Consulates Cup, so I would say probably Eric for me.
I might be a little bit biased, but Jared Tadlock, seriously, as someone that faces that guy as often, as I do, and there was a while that I was intimidated by it, but I don't know. I don't know if it's just because he just has my number or whatever, but to me, he's like a personal fucking mountain that I have to overcome. So I have to say Jared.
I gotcha.
Now I feel bad for not picking Jared.
That's my struggle, my mountain.
As active wrestlers with teammates that are going to show up on here, you guys are. There's going to be some tough ones.
What about you, Jake?
I'm going to have to go with Eric as well. I think Caleb kind of swayed me there. The idea of just letting go of the instinct to not bash your head into a person. It's really hard not to, even with what limited experience I have, which I barely even count as experience. I absolutely that spoke to me because that is the number one thing going through my head when I'm about to charge is like, I'd really like to not hit my head on this guy's head. So yeah,
Bang into the coconuts.
but yeah, that in addition to like just the all around, it's not just the Tachi either. You know, there is a lot to his game. He did, what was the video that the channel that he did a video with, he and Edibo?
Sensei Seth.
That one. Go check out that video with Raijin Sumo Club if you want to learn more about.
There's 2 videos, I think, right?
Yeah. Well, he appears in another Sensei Seth video where it's about how he trained like a sumo wrestler for a day. But it's more of a cameo in that one, but it really focuses on him in the
The second video, I think, has more Eric content, so I liked it better for that reason. Yeah. Also, when we did our interview earlier this year with Eric, another reason why I picked him for the technique prize really is because he, for a large portion of it, just sat here and gave Matt like all kinds of tips and
all kinds of coaching. Just from watching video of me, he was like, "Yeah, try this instead, and you should definitely do this." And I was like, okay, hell yeah.
So he's one of those guys, kind of like Kyle Farrader too, who is just very willing to share the experience and knowledge and expertise that he has.
I think Kyle does it because he's bloodthirsty. Kyle wants there to be better opponents for him to slaughter. Yeah. So I respect that. I definitely respect that.
Eric does it because he's just genuinely a really nice dude, and also because he took those drunken selfies with me after the Consulates Cup.
That was a fun night.
That was very fun.
I wish I could switch my attitude like Eric does. He is one. There's a lot of guys who are like the nicest guys, and they kind of get kind of crazy during the match, but nobody has that switch like Eric.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I was saying earlier. Scary eyes.
Scary, intimidating as hell. Like that switch just goes off in him, and he turns it right back off. And I'm like, wish I had that. I wish I did.
Me too.
Yeah, he doesn't really need time to psych himself up mentally.
No.
He just goes in there, turns into murder mode for 2 seconds, and then he's back.
See, that's a technique that he has that a lot of people don't.
Okay, so it's all right. He won. We get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Eric!
Our 2022 Technique Prize winner.
Pew, 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 pew.
Next up, we're going to do Outstanding Performance. So in professional sumo, this is a prize that is given out to somebody that like gets a huge upset win or beats the guy who goes on to win the tournament. So we're going to interpret outstanding performance as somebody who outperformed expectations the most.
That's good.
So we got a couple nominees. We're going to start off with a repeat, Jared Tadlock. I think the first time I saw Jared was maybe Vegas. Did he do Nationals 21 maybe?
He did Nationals 21. You were there.
Yep.
He was. That was his first time in light heavy. He didn't do that great.
Exactly.
Right.
And this year he's Texas State champion.
That's
so
true.
Coming into the year versus the end of the year, he came in as like, look at that guy. He's tried light heavyweight a couple times. And now he's like, the top dog in the state pretty much. So
yeah,
I would say that's outperforming expectations.
Definitely.
Yeah, he had the most improved year of any person I've seen. So that's probably why he's on here. He did great.
We also have, we have Jared and Sumo Punks' teammate, Natalie Jones as another one on here. Natalie came out of nowhere and kicked a whole bunch of butt at the Consulates Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Even got second place at the Houston Open as well. Just came out of nowhere as far as we're concerned, right? Matt, do you know how she came to join the club?
She it's actually Caitlin that was the sumo fan, beforehand, and then whenever they found
Caitlin
and they're two sisters, right?
So whenever they found Dallas Sumo Club, she was like, "You're coming with me," and she was like, "Okay." And they both have like a powerlifting background, so they're freaking strong. And
very strong.
I fought Natalie for the first time last Keiko, and she pulled my arm out of the socket. Oh, like she was trying to throw me, get like a what's that, a Ponzioi or whatever.
Ponzioi.
And then like my arm was like, but man, she is freaking tough. Like seriously, I was like, man, I don't know how I'm going to approach fighting. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I started doing pushing, thrusting. She just like latched on and just like felt like boa constrictors, and she was just like throwing. I was just like, jeez. But yeah, definitely a powerhouse. She's starting to like polish her technique, and especially, you know, working with Jared, she's definitely getting that technique polished.
I think it's funny that her older sister, well, Caitlin's
I can't remember who's older.
yeah, so Kat's the older one, Nat's the younger one, right?
I don't remember.
I don't know. Anywho, I think it's funny that her sister had basically forced her to join the club, and then she ended up, you know, doing a bit better than her sister did.
Sure.
But just watching her, even during practice, and knowing that she's only been doing it for a few months, it's like, how did she get this like scary good in this short amount of time? It's just bonkers to me. I couldn't do that shit, you know.
And watching both of them fight, they're not afraid to bust out a freaking Nodowa or like some Supari on you. That also makes them scary.
Yeah, we saw that at the Consulates Cup. One of them got a deep Nodawa. I was like, holy shit, that was a Nodawa.
Yeah, and just to clarify, Caitlin Jones also nothing to sniff at there. Like, she's doing great.
Oh no.
Natalie has definitely had the better results so far. Natalie got silver at the Houston Open and also bronze in open weight at the Consulates Cup. So those are some serious awards for somebody that's that new into it.
Yeah, and I think the Consulates was her first tournament too.
Yeah, I think
getting bronze in the open weight, not bad.
Yeah.
Speaking of women who came out of nowhere, going undefeated at the Houston Open, we also have Madison Gwynn.
Yeah.
If you go back and listen to, let's see, we talked to Nate Hudson about the Houston Open.
Yep.
If you want to get the full story on that one on Grand Sumo Breakdown, but yeah, that whole event was just the universe didn't want that event to happen, but we made it happen anyways. And a huge part of that is because of Madison, who entered the tournament and then was also able to save the event at the last second by helping us organize the event at her gym to actually like make the wrestling finally happen, despite all the cancellations and all the weather and everything that, you know, fought against that event. And then she went undefeated against some of the best women in Texas.
And you know what's kind of sad? Toward the end of the live stream that we did, I actually sat down and talked to her for a little while, and I asked her, are you going to keep doing sumo? And unfortunately, she said she didn't think she was. And that kind of was disappointing because she's so freaking good at it. I really, if she sees this, who knows if she will. Please do more sumo. You are so good at it. Please. We'd love to see more of you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about her background to say what martial arts she's done, but clearly a decent amount of like MMA or like collegiate
wrestling. Wrestling for sure, because you could see her muscle memory. I can't remember I think it was Esty. She like pulled Esty down, but then it looked like she was getting ready to try and, you know, when they hit the ground, like bust out like a half Nelson and try and do a pin. But it was like, she was like, oh yeah, that's not what we're doing.
She was trying to like spin to like a ride position or something like that, wasn't it? And then just oh wait, never mind, we're done. But yeah, so she got first place. She went undefeated against Esty, Nicole, Caitlin, and Natalie. I think that was it. I think it was the 5 of them. Was there a 6th maybe?
No, I think you're right.
I think it was the 5 of them.
Yeah.
But regardless, that's 4 of the best women in Texas. It would have been great if we saw Eros there, you know, and like,
hell yeah.
you know, see if she could beat like, you know, probably the biggest, strongest in Texas. But either way, very cool to just come out of nowhere, use that varied martial arts background to just win out of nowhere, and then be like, I don't know, maybe I'll try it again later. I don't know. Probably. Also, our 4th nominee for the Outstanding Performance Award, Edibo Kanyeha out of Raijin Sumo. Where the hell did he come from in the last third of the year here?
I know, like, I think the Consulates Cup was the first time that he even showed up on my radar, and then I was just blown away by this guy. Or maybe it was shortly before, because I do remember mentioning something about him during.
He was in Vegas. He was in Vegas last December, and he did really well. He did really well. He qualified for our Worlds team, but he is not an American citizen, so he couldn't be on the US team for the World Games. So
Right.
I don't know. Caleb, did you hear anything about him in the meantime before he just showed up in Texas and kicked everyone's ass?
I mean, he didn't show up for nationals or anything like that. Most of the beginning of the year was people getting ready for the World Games. It wasn't until after the World Games and he was like, "Oh, I guess I'll do this," and then came in and destroyed everybody over and over again. It was really impressive to watch that guy. Oh man, I mean, when you have people like U.S. team and national winners like JJ and Justin Kizzard and stuff come up to me going, "Oh my God, I don't know what I'm gonna do against this guy," then that guy killed it. That guy was incredible.
Yeah, he wrestled in the Consulates Cup in particular. I think was one of my big benchmarks, that one of my huge wake up calls for Edibo, because other than Kizzard, who Justin Kizzard ran the event, so he didn't wrestle at lightweight. But other than Justin Kizzard, I think we had like all of the best lightweights in the country there.
You had Trent, you had JJ. I mean, the
had
lineup was stacked. Yeah, Joe Ponsetto.
Yeah.
Oscar didn't show up at the Consulates Cup though, did he?
No, I don't think Oscar got going. But yeah, no, I didn't see him there. But yeah, he's still getting going. Too. But he, but Edibo just wiped the floor with everybody. Like, he looked like an unbeatable monster at lightweight.
He's another one of those. Oh, go ahead.
He's placed in 2 open weights too. That's a lightweight. He placed in the American one, the Sumo Dam one, and he placed in the Houston one. He got in the top 3 against a bunch of heavyweights and light heavyweights. He placed top 3.
He got second place at open weight at the Beer City Open as well.
Oh, that's right. He did. I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, he got gold at lightweight, decided he was still hungry, got gold at middleweight, still hungry, and got silver at open weight.
He's also one of those
medals.
That he when he's in the ring, when he's staring you down, you can tell he is going to just completely decimate you. And then when he's out of the ring, he turns it back off. He's another one of those guys where it's like, okay, are you all right? Like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that.
You must have learned that from Eric.
I'm about to say, he was trained by Eric.
He was Raijin guys.
Where Eric is the Eric is like, I don't know if you guys have heard the TV trope idea of the red samurai and the blue samurai. Do you know that? Like,
yeah.
So like in anime, there's always like the big boily, like, outgoing one, and then there's the quiet one who's always like adjusting his glasses. You know,
Samurai Champloo. Samurai Champloo.
Yeah, there you go. That's where it's from. But yeah, Eric is the red samurai. He's got his
Mugen.
He's all over the place. He's talking to everybody. He's all smiles and stuff. And then Edibo is there like, quietly introspective, taking notes in his journal on how his matches went, things like that. And those two are such a pair. It's awesome.
And he's got mustache power. I think that's where he holds all of his power, is in that mustache.
But yeah, like we said, he's nominated for this category because who? And then all of a sudden he's got all of the lightweight medals in the second half of the year here. Like,
yes,
just ridiculous. So, what are you guys thinking as far as who should take this one?
I'm thinking Edibo, because he's just a fucking unit, man. He's a runaway train. He's trying to actually get to pro. We could end up seeing him in Japan sometime eventually. So I'm going for him.
But if I had to pick anyone, I don't know who else I would pick. But yeah, what about you, Matt?
Edibo.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Fair. Mac or Caleb, do you disagree? Because my vote's here. For
nope.
Edibo.
I do not disagree.
I mean, I would love to pick Natalie, but Edibo was a machine this year. So
I'd love to see them go against each other.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
We need like a co-ed tournament. That'd be fun.
Oh yeah.
Tried that. I got turned down a bunch. I want to do that with a team tournament. I was like, let's have some girls and guys, and they're like, it's gonna end up being. And I was like, okay.
It'll happen eventually.
All right.
Like, sumo do, sumo don't.
I can't wait till episode 10.
That's gonna be so awesome.
Oh man, there you go. Let's see. Before we jump into our next one, why don't we toss in one of our little bonus topics? We had one that was specifically requested that needed to be discussed here. Are we for 2023 panty free?
Oh,
Okay, who put
This
us
is-
up to that one?
Sumo Dan.
Sumo Dan.
Called Flesh put me up to this one. He's like, you guys should probably talk about this. It's an important controversy.
Okay, so for myself personally, my rule is if there's little kids or old ladies there, then I'll, I'm like, man, I gotta cover up the stuff. But I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, because back in the day when I was a lot drunker and a lot more naked, I was just fearless. I was just this naked, fearless, drunk force of nature. But now, not the drunk is taken out of it. I could just replace that with like sumo
Naked force of
fury.
nature.
Yeah,
Sumo
and just
force
be
of nature.
Yeah, but just in a mawashi, so I could still have like my naked fury, but just use it for sumo
but
instead of drunkenness.
it'll be harder for people to do shots off your nutsack because.
Well, I'm not gonna make people do shots off my nutsack anymore. It's not how I roll.
No, I'm saying it's
Down your butt
it's more controlled, more tempered now.
Well, yeah.
What was
But
that, Caleb?
it's a thing that had happened. I was drunk. Anyway, but no, I'm saying but I could still have that drunken and nude fury if I, just go tradish. So I just have to be fearless about it. And kids and old ladies be damned. I'm sorry. You're probably just going to look at my butt.
I really liked what Kyle Farrader had to say about it, that both traditional and the way that a lot of the US guys like to do it, where they do wear the shorts under the mawashi, they're both valid and both for different reasons. I think the specific point that he made that really changed my mind on the issue was that there are a lot of people, especially in like American culture, who are afraid to join amateur sumo because they think they have to go traditional. And the more we show people, no, it's up to you. You can go traditional or not. You can wear shorts or leggings or whatever under your mawashi if you feel more comfortable that way. I think the more people are going to feel more comfortable with finally starting it and trying it out, and then we're going to get more people into it, instead of saying, no, you have to do it this way.
And whenever it comes to like club loner mawashis, it's probably better to the ones you're going to be sharing with people,
We could just get some of those little like sanitary stickers that they put in the underwear at the department store.
I know. Oh. Caleb, what do you think?
I was going to say something on that line. You can't make that choice for other people. I know you want to give your snide little jokes about panties and stuff, but honestly, don't make that choice for other people. Just let them do what makes them comfortable and what they're happy with. Otherwise, what does it matter? I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter. It's still the same thing. It's still mawashi you're putting on. You're still going in and wrestling somebody. It ain't no big deal. Shoot. I wouldn't mind if a guy wore like straight up full body armor kind of
Like
jiu-jitsu
jujitsu
stuff.
stance or something.
those rash guards.
Yeah, rash
rash
guards.
guards.
Thank you. I wouldn't mind that. It wouldn't bother
I've
me.
seen it,
I think somebody did that at the Cowboy Cup, actually.
Yeah, it was just too hot, so I had to take off the top.
Yeah.
No,
I thought
Tom
you were
told
going
him
to
to
say,
take
like,
it off. Tom told him to take it off because that's still kind of a rule.
Oh, yeah.
They're still pretty hard about that rule for some reason. I don't know why. Whatever for me. Wear what you want, in my opinion. But
Yeah, it's an accessibility thing, right? Like you want it to be like, yeah. I mean, I agree with Caleb. My opinion is that it's choose whatever you want. So like, yeah, there's the
okay, what if
argument
I
of
want to wear nipple
accessibility.
tassels? Can I do
I'm
that?
cool with
Well, I
If
think
you
could
want.
take that up with Tom if he's your Gyoji. But no, I think it's like you got to weigh the accessibility, right? Like you don't want to scare people away by being like, "Oh, I don't want to be naked." But there's also like like a level of like prestige or tradition. So like it can be if you choose to do it that way and be more like pro sumo wrestling, cool,
Yep.
do that.
Okay,
And
that's what you
on
want.
that note, I do want to clarify that I thought it was a novel and cool idea for Sumo Dan to have that, like higher level amateur tournament with, where it was like a go traditional like rule, like that. I thought that was like, okay. But I like as an event, and it's your event that you want to organize like that. Okay, cool. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
But and if people don't want to participate, they won't want to participate. But I thought that was awesome. I was like, that's not a bad idea.
And
I
personally,
don't mind.
I think it's commendable when people do eventually choose to go traditional like Jared did this year. When they become comfortable enough with their own body to be able to do that and, carry on that tradition. That's why we call it going traditional.
Right.
I can't really say one way or the other if it really does make your sumo better. There are some people that say that it does, but just having that level of self-confidence to be able to do it in front of other people, I think it is something that, you know, you kind of got to hand it to them. Like, yeah, I'm proud of you, buddy. You finally went all the way.
Yeah. No, I was talking to Jake Cullison from Ohio Sumo, and that's kind of like where he, whenever he won at the Beer City Sumo Open, he was like, you know what? He's like, I'm getting good at this thing. I want to keep doing this thing, but I'm gonna go traditional. And that was like him leveling up, you know, his own personal sumo journey. So I thought that was cool. You know, he decided to just like kind of embrace going traditional to, you know, further immerse himself into, you know, into sumo.
And some people never will. Some people will wear the shorts under their mawashi the whole time they do sumo, and that's perfectly fine too.
What do you think, Caleb?
I just want to say that for me, I don't give a damn if I'm naked or not, but I know how annoying it is for me, and the many times I've seen people's ball sacks and assholes because they're going traditional. It's not the butt cheeks, straight up, like that moves sometimes, guys.
Definitely make sure you're tying the mawashi correctly if you're going to go traditional.
The amount of people who've been doing it for years have that issue. I don't want to name names, but I've seen too many of them.
I've seen
too many.
He's seen some things, man.
I just don't want to subject people to that don't ask for it.
That's fair.
That's my thing. Showing my butt cheeks, I don't give a damn. Shit.
Personally, I'd love to see at least one event where everyone goes completely traditional. If you go far back enough in history, before the Mawashis existed. I mean, that might be a cool event for people who are down for that. Yeah, why not? Crap out of each other. Just find a dirt road somewhere, like out in the middle of nowhere, where you're not going to disturb anybody, and just get like fully sky clad, you know.
You know, I don't think shorts are enough. I think we need to do sumo in gimp suits. I think that's the next step.
I'm totally with that one.
Oh man! Fun. All right, why don't we move on to our next award?
Okay.
Now that we've ruined that conversation,
we'll put a pin in that topic.
Put a pin in that one. So yeah, next up we are going to do our Fighting Spirit Award. So this is going to be for not just fighting spirit in the ring, because that would be too many nominees to count, I think, to be honest. But in this sense, fighting spirit to compete. Who's doing like who's doing the most traveling, who's like putting in the effort no matter what to always compete, to make it to as many tournaments as they can. I understand that a lot of this is like financially motivated, and you know, if I had all the money in the world, I would be to every tournament as well. But there's definitely a spirit to making it happen and being able to do that. And there are a couple people that I wanted to call out that absolutely have made that happen over the last year. First up, we've got Kyle Ferreter, officially now out of Iron Wave Sumo.
Yeah,
Iron Wave Sumo is kind of branching out. That's originally the what used to be Florida Sumo with Cornelius and Coringa down there in Florida. But Iron Wave Sumo is branching out. So the, I guess, Colorado branch is Kyle Ferreter, who made it to nationals, even though he couldn't compete. He was injured. He actually helped me and Mac, and we ran the brackets together, and he was huge for that. But he's also been everywhere else. You know, he was in Houston, he was in Austin. He's just been all over the place. We also again have Edibo.
Yes,
Edibo, somewhat limited to like the second half of the year, but he's barely missed anything in the second half of the year.
And he went out to the Swiss Sumo Open.
Yeah, I was about to say he went to the Swiss one.
That's huge. That's not, you know, American amateur sumo, but it's still like, oh my God,
he still went.
Huge,
he still did
amount of effort. SD Webster out of Dark Circle Sumo has been to more tournaments than any other woman this year, at least by my count here. Just everything in Texas. Plus, she went out to nationals, and she was at the Ronin tournament just a couple weeks back.
Oh, hell yeah.
Did pretty well there, too. Our last two nominees are kind of combined, kind of not. We've got Angel and Gilberto Della Torre. who have been
Ooh.
at damn near everything all the way back to the
Yes.
first tournament of the year, the Texas Classic. They've just there's barely anything that these guys have missed. I will say that Angel has been to one tournament more than Gilberto, but I definitely wanted to make sure they were both called out because they put in so much effort to get everywhere they could.
Mhm.
That one tournament being the Cowboy Cup, Angel made it, but Gil did not. So what do you guys think about these guys, and what do you think about their drive to compete and make the effort to show up every time they can?
Well, you can't win unless you show up, and these guys.
True.
That's
Well,
straight
yeah.
up important as heck. Yeah, the first and best skill is being there, and for me, I'm having the hardest time because I've been thinking about this for a while, and I love all of them, but it's gonna come down to me between Angel and Kyle, and I haven't decided on which one I would put first. So I want to listen to everybody else's thoughts on that.
Yeah, because I've seen Angel like everywhere, seriously, like nearly
Right.
every tournament, and same with Kyle. You know, whenever Kyle can make it, and at all the Texas stuff. You know, Texas is pretty close to Colorado, so he's like, it almost feels like he lives in Texas sometimes because he's at everything. You know.
Kind of disappointed that he didn't officially join the Dallas Sumo Club. But,
Mark against him. Nope.
He was the top free agent for a little while there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
well, they call him the sumo nomad. You know, he goes everywhere to do sumo, and that would be, you know, a good mark for him, just because that's his brand.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of wanted to pick Esty because for me, when I was thinking about this earlier, the fighting spirit is more than just like how many tournaments have you been to. You know, she does a lot of just amazing work when it comes to things like body positivity and self-esteem, and
She
that's
does,
like
yoga classes and stuff too, right? And pro
Yeah.
wrestling and like all sorts of shit.
yeah, and that's more of an internal fight, you know.
I see what
Being
you mean.
able
Yeah,
to accept yourself and like be okay with, like, you know, who you are physically, mentally, spiritually. So that's why I did kind of want to pick her, even though she hasn't been to as many tournaments as some of the other nominees. I'd have to say she's my pick for that reason.
I have to add in because I actually like that, and I want to add because my brain was also going to the fact that I thought the same thing with Kyle and Angel, because Angel made it his effort. I mean, made it a huge effort to drop a crap load of weight this year to be like a low heavyweight. And I mean, like the amount of weight he dropped was freaking impressive. And Kyle, most of y'all don't know this. When I first met Kyle, he was an introvert of an introvert. He wouldn't talk to us. He was scared. He was
What?
having his parents talk to us and
You're
stuff.
talking about a different Kyle,
Aw.
maybe?
I don't know this
That's what I
Kyle.
mean.
Who's this
He
Kyle?
worked very hard this year to come out of that shell, and everybody who's met him now is like, wow, what a great open guy.
Yeah.
That
He's
was a
awesome.
hard fight too. So I agree with the inner fight thing. I agree. I just didn't point that out, but those two guys
For sure.
amazed me with that. And Esty, yeah, she tries very hard. She came to our end of the year Degecko and she worked her butt off and to improve her sumo. And so yeah, I know. Now I got three people. Thanks, Sabrina.
Yeah, for me, sorry, Gil, the one tournament Angel made that Gil didn't, I feel like that's got to be a tiebreaker for those two. But yeah, for Angel, the couple things that I would say for him that I think I'm leaning towards him being my pick, but he has not been at peak health for a little bit here, and at the Cowboy Cup and at the Consulates Cup in particular, didn't care. He was going anyways. He was going to do his matches. He wasn't going to like, you know, there were moments where like he had the opportunity to fight to the death and was able to be like, nope, I need this leg tomorrow, not just today. So, you know, we can make that happen. And that I know that is hard for people that are really, you know, heavy competitors.
Yeah.
So for me, that's a factor that even though he was hurt, he was still going to make it. He was still going to like see people. He was going to learn. And he still did pretty well this year. And then for Kyle, the other, you know, the other thing that I wanted to bring up was not just traveling for nationals again, even though he couldn't compete. That's that's really cool. He also went to Turkey for the Nomad Games.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
He is
Yeah.
all over the place, learning everything he can, and the fact that he's got his tattoo has like different sumo forms, like in a line. that's fighting spirit for sumo if it's
That's
out there, you know,
dedication.
that's really cool. So yeah, dang it, I'm also kind of Angel, SD, and Kyle right now. But if
Three-way
I'm gonna
tie?
start, if I'm gonna start the voting, I'm gonna start the voting with Angel. I think that's where I'm gonna sit for the time being. Anybody else ready to commit to one yet?
I still say SD.
Okay.
Gotta back my ladies.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and yeah, and we're definitely gonna have as many women's wrestlers here as possible. It's just there's like what 3 or 4 times as many men's wrestlers, so like you know it's bound to happen that one side's overrepresented. But yes, absolutely, like SD is well deserving here too. Mac, Matt, or Caleb, what do you guys think so far?
I hate this. I hate this so much.
I know this one has me stumped. I'm just hemming and hawing.
For the record, my second pick would be Kyle. So if that sways you in any direction.
If we're doing ranked choice here, yeah.
Yeah. The only proper way to vote.
No argument from me, but
No. I gotta say Kyle.
I gotta go with Angel. I have to.
Oh man, yep. It's pressure's on you, and it's killing you.
Oh,
I can
who
see
is it?
Caleb. Sorry,
Come
say
on,
that again,
Caleb.
Caleb.
Jake, you picked Angel, am I correct?
Yes. We
Why?
got 2 for Angel,
Tell
1
me.
for Kyle, 1 for SD.
Okay,
Oh no, and then he froze at the worst
Then he
possible
froze.
time.
Oh, he wasn't just sitting like that?
He might be, but I don't think so.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Is he just
Matt,
playing
do you
a
have,
trick on
do you
us?
have a pick?
The
Oh me? Oh
Yeah.
no, I said Kyle.
Oh, you did say Kyle. Okay.
Hello?
I'm gonna text Caleb. The tension is killing me. I'm gonna.
I
Yeah.
know, right?
Right at the most inopportune time.
No.
They'll probably just have to like just disconnect, reconnect.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, he's texting back in the Facebook chat right now.
Oh.
Oh my god.
If you try unplugging it
technical
and
issues
plugging
are
it
the
back
villain
in.
of the year for sure.
There we go.
Yes, that's my vote.
Why don't we bring up another one of our bonus categories while we talk about, or while we wait for Kyle here?
Or
Okay.
Caleb.
I am
Wait,
all over the
Caleb.
Yeah, I was scanning
So many
the
names.
category again, and I was reading Kyle's name. Yeah, damn it.
You know what? Don't feel bad because I'll just go ahead and admit it. I forget everyone's name all the time. And I try to find little ways around it, like so I don't have to say someone's name when I'm talking about them because I can see their face in my mind. But god damn if I can remember what the fuck they're called. So you're fine.
Yeah, you're in.
Anyways, yeah, no, what I'm worst at is if I'm also like looking at words, those words will come out my mouth.
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
what it is.
same.
Yeah. So why don't we give a shout out to all of our Team USA members for 2022?
Bravo.
So
Bravo.
At, I would say keep that going, but that's probably not very good podcasting. So at heavyweight, we had let's see, I think this was based on qualifying in Vegas in December of 2021. These are the people that were qualified for Team USA. At heavyweight, we had Robert Fuimaono.
Oh, did we get
And-
Caleb back?
Oh yeah, there's Caleb.
Did we?
Hey!
couldn't make a decision, so I just left. I couldn't take it.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, we're going over who is on Team USA this year. Giving a shout out to Robert, Angel, and Gil Delatorre, and Roy Sims were our men's heavyweights. Women's heavyweights, we had Eros Armstrong, Kellyanne Ball, and Yelady Galindo.
Woo!
In the middleweight, and for international competition this year, middleweight and light heavy were kind of like combined.
Yep, they were combined.
So you got a little bit of a grab bag. But for middleweights, we had Andrew Roden, Jordan Karst, and Eric Wynn for the men. We had Helen Del Popolo, Christina Griffin-Jones, and Jenny Crook for the women. And Jenny was able to take the place that Simone had qualified for, but had to pull out for that injury, as we mentioned earlier. At lightweight, we had Justin Jones, Justin Kizzert, and Trent Sabo, Ketzel Jefferson, Elizabeth Salazar, and Liesl Rickoff. So yeah, go back and check out video of the World Games. It was a learning experience for Team USA. We had quite a bit of trouble, but it was everybody I've talked to says they learned a ton from being able to wrestle against like the best in the world, and just learn and make contacts and go out drinking with all the other sumo people from around the world.
And
Well,
on a
thank you
real
for
play
representing the
dojo.
US of A.
On a
It
real
was-
play dojo. So
It
yeah,
was
congrats.
a real play day, but it was fun just to be there and watch it. It was fantastic. It was an awesome tournament. Please watch it. Like the heavyweight is great. The open weight was crazy, and the flip was insane.
Yeah,
And I
the
got
whole
to meet-
political angle.
Yeah,
Of it. Yeah.
I
backflip
got
gate.
to meet Little Miss Sumo, which was freaking awesome. I got to meet Little Miss Sumo herself. That was fantastic.
Oh boy.
It was cool.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
happy. Like,
I will say, Little Miss Sumo, arrow speeder. So yeah, yeah. No, our women's heavyweight was the most successful division. I think all three of them got at least a win or two amongst the heavyweight and open weight divisions. So
That's
yeah,
true.
Of all the videos that we put up on our YouTube channel of the World Games, I think it was the women's heavyweight that has like the most views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eros kicked ass at heavyweight, and then I'm pretty sure Yolady and Kelly both got wins at open weight or something.
Your lady got one in heavyweight,
Oh, she
and
did? Okay.
Kellyanne got one in open weight.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was hard. They made it so hard to follow, like the organization. Like
Yeah.
there's no like official bracket to follow along. The video isn't all available where it should. It's just
And they had
Nope.
the bracket because they were showing it up on the big screen. So I was like, why
Yeah.
couldn't? No.
Why couldn't that just be there?
whatever. It was a lot of fun though, and we really appreciate our Team USA.
Absolutely.
The next Team USA will be determined at Nationals in March, that will be held in Orlando, March 2023. So now, we've let that simmer for long enough, Caleb.
Caleb.
Who is your vote
Oh
for
God, we haven't
outstanding
decided.
performance?
No, that's why we
You ain't
You were
use your
hoping it would be
votes.
decided by the time you got back.
Okay, I'm gonna go because, like I said about the introvert thing and the going and stuff, I'm going with Kyle. Kyle, you're my boy.
We got a
Alright.
split.
We got a split. So I say there's no shortage of personal pan pizza coupons that Matt can write on the back. So if we got a tie, we got a tie.
We got a
So be it.
tie. All right.
Angel Delatorre and Kyle Ferreter are our 2022 Fighting Spirit Award winners. So congrats, guys.
Woo!
Bravo.
Next, we want to talk a little bit about the behind the scenes and the outside of the ring. So we got 3 categories coming
Not
up
just
here.
the podcasters.
Yes, and not just the we'll get to that. That's by far the
Yeah,
most
that's
important, so we stayed with that.
no.
I want to talk about Oyakata of the Year. Now we have this one. I absolutely wish that we could just nominate everyone and talk about this all night, because so
Yes.
many people have contributed to the growth of sumo in the US this year. Wildly difficult category to narrow it down. So I want to pose 4 nominees, and we can talk about why. And if you guys want to add, please do. But these are the 4 that I came up with, and we can go from there. I think between putting together the Iron Belly tournament and Sumo Dan's tournament, Cornelius Booker of Iron Wave Sumo has to be in here. Iron Wave Sumo, he's also coached people that have branched off into new clubs. So I think that's really cool. That's something that's worth bringing up, because Corny is one of the guys that is most enthusiastic about getting more people into the sport. And also, he's a damn good wrestler. He's the reigning light heavyweight national champ. So yeah, I mean, he's one of the best guys to learn from in and out of the ring. If we're talking performance, we got to give a shout out to Yama. Yamamoto Sumo Dojo, the club that has by far the most national champions this year. You know, that he's a former pro, so he has a perspective that nobody else in the country in amateur sumo really has that much of. You know, yeah, we have other contacts like Waka Noho or Soslan. He's down there in Florida teaching some guys about what pro sumo used to be like. But Yama's out there every week training the guys, and those results show. If we're talking outside of just purely performance, if you want to talk about somebody who knows how to put together a club and get a name out there, Corey Morrison out of Dallas Sumo Club. Holy shit. There was not a Dallas Sumo Club last year. And this year there's an official nonprofit that's been on every news channel in Dallas.
Mhm.
There's there's t-shirts, there's beans cans.
Beans!
There's
Plain ass
there's like a
beans!
dozen or two wrestlers that didn't know what sumo was a year ago. That guy has put together a serious organization from nothing. And we're calling out Corey, but we got to also mention the behind Corey, you also got Jared, and you also got Okami
And Siggy.
You got
Yep,
Sauer
Siggy.
doing a lot for them too. And fourth, Justin Kizzert. Justin Kizzert's been doing this a long time. He used to work. He actually used to train with Yama out in California.
Mhm.
Then he comes to Texas and he's like, you know what? I think I'll do it here too. And has another one of the biggest clubs in the country. He's got a bunch of highly talented wrestlers. Where to mention Esty. Esty's one that that he's trained up. You got Airy, Chad. Let's see, Liesel, Eros.
Eros.
There's a lot that Justin has put into this sport, and putting on the Consulates Cup. He organized an excellent event, and that is one of the key things to bring more people into sumo.
I think the Consulates Cup was the most well-organized event I had seen this year, outside of the big national ones.
Mhm.
The most well-organized local.
I can tell you that it was
Yes.
less organized than it looked.
We've been there, done that.
But no, we'll talk about events next. But as far as impact from a coach, go ahead, Caleb.
I wanted to add another one because I just think he should be added this year. Is Tom Zabel. I know we already have 2 Texas guys, but Tom had 3 girls qualify for the USA team, and he for most of this year, granted because of injuries and other things, they dropped out. But for majority of the year, no one had more women or was trying to get more women, and then he added 3 youths. Also this year to our team before anyone else started doing use and stuff. He was like, let's go, let's bring him in. And so I would like to add Tom Zabel at least into the list as well.
100%. No, that's
totally.
Yeah. And as far as bringing, a lot of when people talk about growing the sport, one of the things that always comes up is youth and women.
Yes.
Because that's just where we don't have as much. And who's got the most youth program going on and who's got the most successful women's wrestlers? That's Mighty Eagle Sumo.
Yep, Mighty Eagle.
Because of Tom's direction and because of the connections that he's made and fostered throughout the years. Absolutely. But yeah, so what do you guys think about these guys, and what are the things that you look for, I guess, when you're thinking how you should decide who is your coach of the year? What other criteria should we take into account, do you think?
I think you named the 2 main things for me, which is training people well and the growth of the club itself. Those are the 2 biggest things, in my opinion.
Sure.
Working on that. The list that you have is a fantastic list. That is the list that's just the guys right now, in my opinion. They're doing the best at doing those two things.
Yeah, and we got and that's not to say that nobody else is doing that either. This is such a hard one to narrow it down. Like Darius over in Ohio has spawned 2 different branches of Ohio Sumo that are both very powerful based on their performance in
or Karinga, keeping the Iron Wave guys going out there in Florida with Corny.
Exactly.
And all the stuff that Brandon's doing out there in Ronan, Florida.
Brandon's doing great.
In a short amount of time, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another thing too that I wanted to mention as an aspect of a good oyakata, at least in the current amateur sumo climate in the US, is getting more fans involved. And because nobody's going to show up to tournaments, nobody's going to donate to clubs or donate to causes that we're trying to put forward if nobody's interested in sumo. You don't necessarily have to do sumo to be interested in sumo. And that was something I was kind of thinking of when you brought up Corey, because that is a huge part of what he's done in the past year, is make people in the community more familiar with sumo and more interested in it, having more people show up at events, How many people were at that Roller Town event?
Oh, there was a shit
It
ton
was
of people out there.
hundreds of people showed up and had just a great fucking time. And we did get a few members from that too. That's where we got Eric and Bubba.
No, not Eric. You
Or
mean
not
Rick.
Eric. I'm sorry, Rick and Bubba.
Rick and Bubba.
Look, the word Rick is in the word Eric, okay? But yes, Rick
Partial
and
credit.
Bubba.
Yeah, we'll allow it.
But and also he's a very skilled video doer. So
Yeah. No,
So
no,
I
you're-
think
you're
that
right.
kind
That's a big
of-
part of it. Like all
Yeah,
the stuff
that's-
he puts
that
on
is a big
social
part of
media
it.
is drawing more eyes in, and that's it's so cool.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I would have to say another one of my picks would be Corny, because he's been the one person that the most people I've talked to have said this guy was the reason why I finally put on that Mawashi and tried it out.
We've heard
He
so many
reaches
stories.
out to people
Yeah.
directly and says, "Hey, what do you need? How can I support you for you to start doing this and try it out and get into it?" And so it's kind of a toss up for me between those two. I don't know. I think they all should win, really, because it's a hard position to be in.
Plus
But
another dozen that we haven't mentioned. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, there's literally there are so many people out there that are contributing to the growth of the sport, fostering, all the different clubs, all the different camaraderie. It's so hard to narrow this down.
Yeah. It is. And I mean, I don't want to just start listing shout outs because then we'll be here all night. But like I think for me, like the thing that I'm gonna say is like my heaviest criteria is just got to be sheer exposure, and for that reason, I think Corey has got to be my pick. Like it's clear that it's also clear that focusing on exposure and focusing on like the media side of things is not causing any suffering in performance. It's not like he's only doing that and isn't like helping coach like in the ring, because I mean he's got Jared at his side, who's the state champ. However much of that, like there's so much going on there that like I can't think of any other clubs that have everything the way that Dallas does, and that's not, I mean, I don't mean like just like the club as a whole. I mean like what the coach contributes to what the club can do.
Yeah.
He covers all the bases, and I think that's just so cool, and that's why I would vote for him. What do you guys think?
In that same vein, my vote goes to Kizzard, because our first foray into the amateur sumo was the Consulates Cup. Very first time Jake and I ever attended a tournament was put
Nationals,
on by
2021.
Yeah,
that one wasn't the Consulates. That was Nationals.
Okay,
When we
Nationals.
went
But it was pretty
but it
much
was
the consulates.
It was pretty much the Consulates Cup.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it was put on by Justin. He had, not only did he compete, but he also organized everything. And I was just super impressed with that. The other thing that I love with Justin is when he's not trying to do all the MC stuff and trying to run the tournament, he's on the ring screaming, trying to get his guys to like, come on, you can do this, screaming encouragement
Jumping
the
in front of
entire
the
time
camera
he's
and
there. And
everything.
I absolutely love that. That's why he gets my vote.
Nice.
I hate to go three ways here, but I'm gonna go with Tom. I'm a little biased, I know that, but he's done so much for sumo, not just year, but any years. I know this is about this year, but he's just done so much for sumo in general, and I can't even go into all the stuff he has. I'll just put in this, like even with Justin and Corey, a huge reason of them doing what they're doing, and Nicholas over there in Houston, is because of Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Tom got Corey the list of all the people in Dallas he kept track of that want to do sumo. When Justin came down to Austin, he was wrestling over in San Antonio with us, and he was like, well, this is how you can do it over there in Austin. It's just so important to him to spread sumo. He's been doing it for so long, and he finally feels like this year it accomplished this huge thing. That's why you might have seen that photo of all the Texas guys hugging over there.
Such a good picture.
That's because he was like, guys, thank you. I've been trying to do this for 20 years, and finally I feel like we've gotten there to where we have something in Texas that's a thing. And I know that is just, and he's he can't get as excited as Justin at the matches because he's always the goji or the head judge.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. He's at all these tournaments, as many tournaments he can show up to. Because if it's not him, it's Packy. But most of the time, it's him showing up to and being the goji and the head judge and spreading sumo. So I'm gonna pick Tom.
Dang,
Stable.
can we go back
Man
and
who
add a
wrote the book
nominee for
himself.
what was that? Sorry,
The
I
man who wrote the
interrupted
book.
you there.
The man who wrote the book.
Yep.
Oh,
Man who
true.
wrote the book.
Yeah.
Literally
Right
wrote the
there.
book.
Yep. The one that's literally on my desk here, and I have effectively
Correct.
like a holster for it, like off
Yep. Mine
camera
is
there.
downstairs in my bookshelf.
But
Harry
yeah,
still has mine.
real quick addendum for Tom, like can we go back and like add another nominee for for fighting spirit because he traveled to everything.
Oh,
Also, yes.
But he's also the coach of the women's Texas State champ this year, Nicole Burgess. So
sure.
there you go. But yeah, Sumo Punks, what are you guys thinking? Are you gonna break the tie, or are you gonna just...
We got a 3-way tie right now.
God, I can't. I don't know. It's such a hard choice.
Mm-hmm. What are you valuing? What do you think is like your most important things that go into this decision for you?
For me personally, I would definitely say seeing, for me, leadership is leading by example, like doing the thing, with everybody. And, there are a lot of the nominees that do that, but that's something important, I think. And the exposure and, interacting with the community and, just showing everyone what sumo is and what we're all about. And oh man,
You're allowed to vote for your own coach.
It's okay. It's okay.
I gotta say Corey, but that's
there we
you
go.
Can say it. There you go.
Yeah, I'm still between Corey and Corny, and now Tom a little bit too.
yeah, definitely Tom.
Caleb almost got me tearing up over there.
I know,
with
right?
that.
I already gave it to Justin, but also well deserved.
I still want to have Tom on our show one of these days. I don't know if he'd go for the like more extreme side of what we do, but
He's a little darker than he seems.
okay.
All right, we'll ask him.
But gosh, I'm trying to decide like what is more important, like the outward, getting sumo to the people, or the personal touch that Corny has. Gosh. I'm just gonna go the easy route and just say Corey, because I guess it's expected everybody is gonna choose their own guy.
Well, I mean, I could tell you if you voted for Corey would still win. But
Yeah, Corey would have still
Okay,
won.
well,
but yeah, again, it's not to say anything that any coach is like lacking here. It's like,
Oh, right.
and to me, Caleb, you absolutely it wasn't that I was like, trying to minimize Tom or anything. It's just that if you look at 2022 specifically, I can't think of anything that has gone from nothing to everything as quickly as Dallas has, and that's under Corey's leadership for sure.
there will be other years and other competitions.
Yes.
And other lifetime achievement awards that Tom deserves more than anyone
Oh,
else.
yes. Totally.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
there we go. Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh,
We
and
need a
Tom got a
Sumo
new
Hall
black
of
belt this
Fame.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom trained up a new black belt, Caleb.
Hi, that's me. And he got his first second degree, actually. Wait, was that this year? No, that was the end of last year. Or where Jessica got the second degree black belt.
I got
Isn't
you.
that awesome? So yeah, we got all that.
So now you can
I
be
know
called
that one was
sensei.
hard. This one is not going to be much easier. Event of the year.
Oh
Ooh.
god.
So I tossed out just a couple, but feel free to add to this list by all means if you want to vote for a different one. First up, we have the Consulates Cup, run by Justin and Dark Circle Sumo. This one, some of the highlights of it, it had men's, women's, and youth divisions. It had multiple sponsors that were like actually on site, like providing like there was like the konbini, there was like the
Yes.
cultural demonstrations. This one was like a show. This was a day. Like
It was profesh.
It was
it wasn't,
professional.
yeah, and not to say that there's anything wrong with this, but it wasn't hanging out in the gym, right? This was
Right.
like a go to the show, like, you know, put on your fancy clothes and your parasol and like go to the day at the sumo, right? Like it was a whole thing.
I did that for one of the Dallas events. I dressed up in my little like gothic Lolita and had my little parasol.
You're like your little Wednesday Addams out at the sumo.
Yeah.
We also have 2022 Nationals.
Ooh,
2022
Utah.
Nationals in Salt Lake City was pretty cool. And not just because we were part of it. Me and Mac were out
That
there,
was
as we
fun.
mentioned, with Kyle's help, just running the brackets and like just, you know, doing the day-to-day. But like it was such a cool event. It was part of FitCon, which is just like this huge fitness convention of bodybuilding, pro wrestling, all sorts of like seminars and panels and all that. It was a big ass
Medieval
convention.
combat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Professional
Wow.
wrestling on one side, bodybuilding on another, powerlifting.
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
one brought a ton
Vegan
of
jerky.
eyes. That one brought
there
a
was,
ton of
there
eyes
was
to
food
sumo.
samples of
'Cause-
food.
Yeah. Oh my god, there was so much food. That was excellent. But that one brought a ton of eyes to sumo because there was people just wandering around the convention and they're like, "Oh, holy crap, is that sumo wrestling?"
I also want to say I got my black belt there, and I kind of broke down in tears because you get in front of all these national guys and other black belts like Roy Sims and stuff. It felt really fantastic. It was a fantastic event. I have to. Also, their train system in Salt Lake City is the bomb, dude.
Oh yeah.
Honest to God, I
Uh-huh.
wish we had that here. It was such a great $5. I ride all day. I didn't have to get any taxis.
Nope.
Yeah.
Ubers or anything.
Damn.
It
Straight
was
to
so
the airport,
awesome.
straight to the hotels. It was awesome.
So
It goes
Salt Lake
right to the
City schools-
airport. So, like, if you fly
Yeah.
in, you just bam, walk across the street and take
There you
the train. It is so well done.
So Nationals gets some bonus points because Salt Lake City is kind of rad. Totally get
Yes.
it. Nationals also spawned a club like directly tied
Also,
to
yes.
that event. Salt Lake Sumo is now a thing with
Yep.
so shout out to George there. But working slightly against Nationals, got to toss that out there too. Had the national meeting. That always kind of sucks. Anyways, next up. Next up, we had the US Open, which is always big. I mean, there was a couple difficult years just for COVID, as to be expected, but came back at full scale this year and delivered. Pretty solid show. I wish it was easier to watch, but it brought out a bunch of international names. There should be video out there of, at the very least, there's highlights out there now on YouTube. So that one, what is it, like 20th, maybe 21st or 2nd? It's been going like 20-ish years. It's the longest running annual tournament in the country. And yeah, those guys know how to throw a show. We also have the aforementioned Dallas Sumo Club throwing the Cowboy Cup, the pound for pound sweatiest ass event of the year. for
Jake, you
sure.
know that personally.
I do know that personally, and so does Matt. I think he actually he got up off the couch because he didn't want to talk about
You
it.
went to go pee.
Yeah. Didn't want to talk about the near heat stroke that he had in Dallas for that one.
Definitely the highest temperature at any event, although I think the Consulate's Cup would take highest humidity. But
Yeah, that was humid. That was swampy.
yeah,
But,
Cowboy Cup was just a tent out in the middle of a field, and
Thank
in
Christ
June.
for that tent. Yeah, if we didn't have that tent, there would be a body count to that event.
Seriously, starting with me, I would have been
But,
dead.
but no, heat aside, that one was awesome. It brought together, we had like a full streaming like staff.
Yeah.
That was cool.
We had a producer. Like, how rad is that? There was a guy who was just there to produce the show, run the stream, get all the audio, all the video. It worked great. It was beautiful. Go look that
lots
up
of
on Dallas's
sponsors.
sponsors. Yeah.
Kincho
No, that
banner.
was yeah, I mean, like I mentioned with consulates, like, there's sponsors, there's different levels of like what the event is. This the Cowboy Cup was part of another FitCon event.
Yeah.
So that helped get like more people walking back and forth, like, just checking out sumo despite not being there just for the sumo.
One of the medieval combat guys came and actually like entered the open weight, didn't he? Was it
Yeah.
open weight?
He got a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
wins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He bought a Lone Star Sumo shirt too. It was freaking awesome.
Hell
He
yeah.
wearing it.
Yeah, Monty, I don't know how he competed in the medieval combat, like wearing like a couple dozen pounds of armor in that.
Well, he was
sun.
definitely in his underwear by the time he put on that Mawashi.
Oh, yeah.
I think he was great.
So
into
hot.
A different sport. But that was awesome.
That was
I
Matt's
was
first
very
tournament, too.
impressed.
Matt had his very first match.
That was my very
That's
first.
right.
Yeah, my
in
first.
that tournament.
Yeah, fought Caleb for the first time I ever did a tournament. Now Caleb's like my rival.
How many mountains do you have to climb, man?
Matt's out here. Matt's picking fights with everybody. And then one more nominee here. We have the Beer City Open, which have to call out not just because it was the biggest event in the Midwest in as far as anyone else can remember. Yeah, so hey, Midwest. All right. Let's
Yeah,
go.
Midwest.
But it brought the Ohio crowd. It brought Matt from Chicago. We got Bear Paw Sumo representing from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Mhm.
Mhm. And,
Tennessee was there too, weren't they?
What's that?
Was it Tennessee there?
Oh no, Iron Mountain.
Yes.
Iron Mountain?
Iron Mountain.
This
Okay.
event was the genesis of Iron Mountain Club.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because Kaylin and Ben were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They came to check it out. Ben got in the ring and they go home. And by the time they got home, I'm pretty sure they already had T-shirts and everything like ready to go for Iron Mountain Sumo. And yeah, so they started a club and also went to the Ronin event down in Florida. So like, yeah, the Beer City really got a couple people hooked. We could say that for sure.
Hell yeah.
Right on.
But yeah, the real big one for Beer City was the Clay Dojo.
Play-Doh,
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that's worth some serious points. Gabe and the rest of the guys at Grand Rapids Sumo Club, I'm sure they would all admit, mostly Gabe, put in
Yeah.
dozens of hours to make that giant pile of rocks into a
Several days. Several days to build that. Yeah.
and
was-
and it turned out pretty good. Like I actually got to check it out. I got to walk around on it. I had a couple like practice matches and stuff. Edibo threw me on my head. Josh threw me on my knee. Still kind of hurts, but yeah.
And
no,
that was the
one-
first time you got in the dojo, right? First time with the Mawashi.
Yeah, and
Congratulations.
yeah, and I walked away with some battle scars. So
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah. So again, this is not comprehensive. Do you guys have any other ones that I missed that we got to get in the discussion for best event of the year?
I think you got the big ones, in my opinion.
What are you guys? So similar to the last one, what kind of criteria are you guys valuing when you're thinking about who you want to vote for?
Air conditioning.
So
That's my
so
number
you really
one.
Liked, so you really liked the Houston Open then when we got to do it in a gym then, didn't you?
Oh man, yeah,
Oh,
that
you know
was fantastic.
We should have the Houston Open as a nominee on here just because it managed to happen.
Yeah.
But-
It was a miracle, baby.
At least
was a
honorable
miracle.
mention.
I just wrote it in. It's a write-in.
All right,
Houston
it's-
Open,
it's there.
comma, it happened. Yes, absolutely.
It happened. It's literally what Houston Open, comma, it happened.
Yeah, for me, I guess if you don't mind me starting on this one as well, for me, I think the professionalism is a big thing, and like yes, for Houston that wasn't really an option because everything else was conspiring against us, but I think the professionalism and the thought ahead of time and like the make it a show aspect of it, I think is really cool. I think that's what we have already been talking about is what has been bringing eyes on sumo and stuff. And so for me, I'm still torn, but the two that I'm looking at are Consulates and Cowboy Cup.
See, for
I
me,
would say US Open, but the US Open, I will say, at least in my opinion, there's a few points against because it's like so long running. It's not quite as like, it doesn't quite stand out as much as these other ones that like were put together like fully grassroots kind of a deal.
For me, it's the difficulty of watching the US Sumo. It's kind of really hard to get to watch.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And that's a big point against it, in my opinion.
I don't want to, and I don't want to say like it's not an excellent show. Like it is
No, it is.
Oh, no,
well
it's
put
a great
together
show.
if you're there. And if you're not there, that's another difficulty that I think has been addressed in a couple different ways this year is like most tournaments up until the last couple of years have been like for the guys hanging out in the gym, right? But then
Yeah.
a couple of the events this year have been like turned into spectacles, not
Right.
just for the people there, not only for the athletes, but like for the fans. Like there are like hundreds and hundreds of like people that are just fans of US amateur sumo now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a huge part of that is these events that do streaming and just put extra stuff on there to like make it an event, make it like feel like just a show. So that's why I'm leaning towards consulates and cowboy, and I'm hoping that somebody else has more to bring up about those two, so that they can help me choose.
It's definitely cowboy for me, and the reason it's Cowboys Cup for me is I was super impressed with how the stream worked. It looked like a real like fucking sporting event. It was like holy shit. So that had cable TV fucking quality all over it, and I was very impressed with that.
And for that being the first tournament that Dallas Sumo Club ever hosted, like ever,
it was a well-oiled machine.
Very well put together.
It was a home run on like the first career at bat kind of a thing. Like yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the Ken Show banners was like fucking like that was like a great addition. I was a huge fan of that.
I'm glad I wore my fishnets for that.
And despite the heat, you know, if heat be damned, it was a damn good event. You know, that was just what we had to endure, but it was fucking awesome, and I had a whole lot of fun. Everything just happens without. Honestly, if there were any hiccups or any problems, I didn't see them. So
excellent after party too.
Yeah.
We got to know Ben Marquez really well. That's where we got to actually sit down and talk to you, Jake, for the first time ever.
Yeah. I want to touch on something Matt said though. If there were hiccups, I didn't see them. Good. Caleb, Matt, Caleb and Mac, what are you guys thinking?
For me, I want to say Conference Cup because the show that was put on is pretty good, and also for me, like the biggest thing for me is the energy that's put on by the wrestlers and what's happening. And that one was, everybody felt like it was a big tournament. You know, it was. I'm not saying these other ones aren't. I think Cowboys Cup is definitely going to be there really fast.
Mm.
Like because the location is better to get to than most of the other places in Texas. It's easy to fly into Dallas and stuff, and plus. That was a huge, like you said, home run for the first one. But for this year, Constance Cup was just on freaking point. Like, all the wrestlers went off. They were fantastic matches. Dramatic shit happened.
Yeah.
People got injured. The doyo was raised. The youth, like you mentioned earlier, was so much fun to watch. Everybody talked about that afterward, how fun it was to watch the youth. It was great. I love that. That was my number one tournament of the year.
I gotta say that's my vote too, honestly. Even though I paid for a VIP seat and somebody ended up stealing it, and I never got my bento box. I never complained about it because it was such a fucking just beautifully put together, very professional event. So I gotta say that's probably gonna be my vote too.
Plus, you didn't stop moving, Sabrina, for the whole.
Oh, dude, I was on my feet the whole time.
Sabrina didn't even know she was working that day until she arrived.
Yeah, exactly. Justin just handed me his phone and said, "Go start interviewing people," and I was like, "Okay."
Okay.
Yeah, you can still find those. So, like on Dark Circle Sumo's YouTube page, you can find the event. But on their Instagram, if you scroll back, you can also find Sabrina just walking around and just like chatting up the crowd. That was a lot of fun.
That was my first time actually sitting in the media booth too. I had never done a live event before. Awesome. You know, I had some like student groups in college that I ran, but that it is not the same, you know, to be there and to actually like be sitting at the table with a microphone in front of my face talking about something that's happening in front of my eyeballs. I was very nervous, and I hope it did not show up on.
No, you did actually.
No, not at all.
What about you, Mac? Where's your vote going?
Oh, it's totally the Consulates Cup. Going from what Justin did last year. He took the good parts and made it even better. He just improved on it that much more with the raised doyo, with the impact pads around it, having the banners on the outside of the raise so that you knew it was raised, but you didn't see the scaffolding and everything underneath it. It just looked professional. It looked clean. He had all the entertainment in between everything and the announcing booth. I loved doing the play-by-plays with you, Sabrina. Loved doing it with Jake. We had Kaboom there. It was just outstanding. It was a true performance for the sport. And I thought, this is where we need to be. This is where we need to get all of the tournaments in the US just like this.
I think we joked
Consulates.
about it at the time even, but like Corey threw down the gauntlet with the Cowboy Cup in June, and then Justin was like, hell yes,
Done.
and raised the ante again in November.
Also,
September.
excellent after party at the
Yes,
sake bar.
That was a good one. With the
I think-
sumo photos up on the wall.
Oh,
that was
Yes.
No, Caleb's got me convinced here. Cowboy Cup is probably my second favorite, but the consulates with the cultural demonstrations in between. Here's a there you go. Who are you throwing in that one?
I'm
Is that
throwing
your
my
brother?
Casey.
Your brother.
One of the photos on the wall, and I wanted to buy it, but it was sold. Turned out Justin Kizzer got it for me for my birthday.
Oh.
Gave it to me a couple months later.
Justin.
That's so cool. But yeah, no, Caleb, you swung me with the after party with the photo gallery, and the youth division. Also shout out to Ronin Sumo for putting on an event with a successful youth division as well.
Yeah.
At the Ronin Sumo tournament this month. But
And Mighty Eagle Team Tournament's going to have a youth division as well.
hey, all right, coming up in February.
Oh, and Antioch.
Antioch High School announced.
Oh,
that-
yeah.
They
That's it.
announced
A
recently.
just youth division.
Yes.
That's gonna be cool. I want to
It's
see it.
I think it's going to be the beginning of March, right?
March 25th.
Or the end of March, I
And
guess.
it was like just
Yeah.
announced today. So yeah, there will be more news coming out on that for sure.
Hell yeah.
But so that means that our event of the year is the Consulates Cup.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Dark Circle Sumo. You are our winner there.
I think my favorite memory from that was Eric just drunk out of his mind rolling around on the karaoke stage after we had taken those like very sweaty drunken selfies. I'd say that was the
just
highlight
gotta
for
roll
me.
around.
I think my
The
favorite
drunken
part was
arm
that-
wrestling was awesome after.
Oh,
The
drunken arm
arm
wrestling was great.
Yes.
for me, my favorite was as everybody came in to Texas Sake. Me and Mac and our wives, we all had like a booth, like
Right
somewhat
next to
near
the
the
door.
entrance. So everybody that came in said hello and then like had a shot with us or something.
Yes. It was like,
And I'm pretty sure we made
"Hey!"
Kellyanne chug her Consulates Cup trophy full of sake.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was
I wanna
fantastic.
point out my happiest moment was actually at the party meeting Jake's wife, and she had a Bajoran style earring on.
Yes.
Yep.
Deep Space
That's
Nine. It made me
badass.
so happy.
Hell yeah.
Did you not know we married nerds?
Yeah, I promise you, she's as nerdy as you think. Yeah.
Exactly.
Jake even made a little nerd.
I made a little nerd. Yeah. Yeah, no, he's already got a sumo onesie, so we're doing all right. Pictures forthcoming. He's coming home tomorrow, so we'll get that. But why don't we move on to our last Out of the Ring award, the Club of the Year. So somewhat related to our Oyakata and event, but we thought this would be worth talking about on its own. Like for Coach of the Year, we had to bring up Yama. If we're talking just sheer results on like a national scale, got to bring up Yamamoto Sumo Dojo out of Los Angeles. You got the Galindos, you got Kellyanne, you got Ponsetto, and all of it helmed by Yama as the coach and Andrew as the organizer. And I don't think he's really wrestling anymore, but he's certainly like handling like the the behind the scenes stuff and keeping them moving that way. So yeah, you got to bring them up. Even though it's basically all new, got to bring up Dallas. Between the multiple events, the demos, the publicity and everything, absolutely in the discussion. Mighty Eagle Sumo, more youth competitors and more women's competitors than any other club.
Yeah.
So absolutely worth bringing up there. Women's wrestlers, including Texas State champion Nicole Burgess. We also have Iron Wave, and similar to we talked about Iron Wave a little bit with Cornelius. But another thing to mention here is that in the last year, Iron Wave has spawned off 2 sub clubs. or I mean, two like I don't know,
Affiliates.
affiliates, not
Isn't that a
affiliates.
sandwich?
Are they cells?
Ooh,
We've spun off
Another
Ronin
Iron
Sumo
Wave
Club.
cell.
Sumo terrorist cells.
Yeah. Whatever. You know what I meant. So they spawned off Ronin Sumo Club up in the Florida Panhandle, and we also have Gorilla Sumo, which is
Gorilla.
now official.
Gorilla Sumo.
Yeah.
Mark Jones.
Mark
And
Jones.
it's Ronin Sumo Bea.
Ronin Sumo
Ronin
Bea. Yes,
Sumo
exactly.
Bea.
So yeah, I mean, you gotta, if we're talking growing the sport, being
Respect.
the nexus for multiple new clubs, that's a pretty
Iron
big
Wave
one, right?
has been the most reproductive, I think.
Yes, they're very promiscuous at the club. Right?
The most promiscuous sumo club.
They don't care who you are;
No.
they just want you.
If we're talking sheer medals per member, Raijin Sumo Club has to
Oh,
lead the way on
totally.
that.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Even if
Yes.
it's just Edibo and Eric that have competed on the national scale so far, oh my God, they bring home hardware everywhere they go,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And multitudes.
including Switzerland, right? So,
Yeah.
and then also, I'm not sure the official status here, but Caleb, you want to show us your T-shirt for our next nominee here?
So also heavy metal winners.
Yeah,
Della
We got
Torre,
Delatore
Bakersfield
Backyard,
Backyard
Sumo.
Sumo.
Ooh.
They are freaking amazing.
Ooh.
Nice.
I just think those three brothers just killed it this year.
Oh,
They
hell
were
yeah.
amazing
I
this
like
year.
that.
Including going to US, two of them going to US and heavyweight. Oh shoot. What Gil do at Constance Cup, that was like his best tournament ever.
Mm.
Yeah.
And the many things the Angels done, they were fantastic in my opinion.
Yeah, no kidding. And again, they have trained a lot with Yamamoto, but they're in Bakersfield, so I think travel is part of the issue. Like, it's just hard to get to where they're travel or where the rest of the team is training every week and stuff. So I don't know exactly their status, but they're
If you've
absolutely
seen
worth bringing
photos.
up.
They made a dojo in their backyard, and that's where
Mhm.
they wrestle. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
Right? I think we all kind of want that. All the sumo wrestlers kind of wish they had a backyard. They could do that too.
Yes.
Yep.
That's one of the reasons why we're moving to find an actual house to live in, just so we can
Just so
do
we
that.
can build a backyard dojo.
Right on.
Hell yes.
And tomatoes. Grow some tomatoes. Not in the dojo, adjacent to it.
Well, you
Yeah.
could. I mean,
Throw
it just
people
might make
that
to the
adjacent.
tomato patch.
might make a ring match a little hard, but you know.
Yeah.
Although, can you imagine the splatter effects of landing on a tomato and
I
Oh
was
my
just
God, is
thinking
that
about
blood?
Yeah.
No, just a tomato.
Oh man. So yeah, what are you guys thinking here? Like, how do you judge a club of the year different from what we've already talked about with coach and event? Like, what things are you looking for here? Are you looking at just purely results? Are you looking at growth? Caleb, what are you thinking here?
Growth a little bit, but mainly results for club of the year. I like for the club. I always think of our clubs. I mean, other people have different ideas, but for me, I always think of clubs as like the teams of sumo. Like
Sure.
that's your team, and so results is a big thing with that. And I'll say it right now. I know who I'm gonna pick. Because they were down to two guys, and I'm wearing the shirt of one, the Rajin from North Carolina. And straight up, though, I think Della Torre is the people I'm picking. They killed it this year. And they went to so many. They went to Sweden as well. You know, they went to
Mhm.
as many tournaments as they possibly can make it. To the point where the last two tournaments they weren't actually able to get there because they went to so many tournaments through the year. They didn't make it to Houston or Florida at the end. They tried. They really tried.
Yeah. Oh man, anybody else got a team in mind already?
Yeah,
I'm still on the fence, so I'm gonna push this off on you for a few minutes, I think.
nope. So I'm gonna jump on the Della Torre bandwagon. Like, thinking back to all the different tournaments that we've seen Angel and Gil at, how long they've been involved with it, just the level of excitement that they bring to it, and just being there. Like, as soon as you see the name on the list in the roster, Della Torre, it's like,
Oh, damn.
oh shit,
Yeah.
it's
It's
going
on.
down
True.
now. So I'm like, no, definitely Team Della Torre on this one.
Same, Della Torre.
Yeah, I kind of want to say Iron Wave. I kind of try to take a holistic view of it. It's not just it's not just like how many wins the team has had or how much of an influence they've been on the community. It's like everything combined.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I think really mine's got to be Iron Wave.
Gotcha.
Just because they have had they've had people in the Iron Wave and in the clubs that they spawned off that have done really well this year, so that's gonna be my choice.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm leaning initially towards picking Dallas. That's where I thought I was gonna go, just for all the reasons that we've already talked about. Like with it to me, it's just so cool how rapidly and like diversified the growth is there. But yeah, I mean, for results, I mean, we're kind of thinking similar things, but when I look at results and who's bringing up like the strongest wrestlers, I think I gotta go with Yamamoto. Between let's see, if you count, well, actually, I have the results right here. Let me bring up.
I was gonna say you have it.
Bring up nationals. So let's see. They got the men's open weight, men's heavyweight, men's lightweight, women's open weight, women's heavyweight, women's middleweight. That is 6 national champions under one roof, and that's a lot to go on. Like,
fair.
Wow.
Nope,
that is a very fair point. Yeah.
I'm not saying anybody else is incorrect. I think these are all good choices, but like for me, if there was one single powerhouse that like we were picking in like a fantasy football style thing, I would have to pick Yamamoto. But,
that's a good way to look at it. I think just pretend it's like team fantasy sumo.
Sure. I want to do fantasy sumo and bring home the most medals this year.
Therefore, you go to Yamamoto.
And
I just really think that I would have to go with Yamamoto. Like
that makes
they are
sense.
an absolute powerhouse, and it's fun to meet with those guys because the training with Yama is one of the things that is most unique about that club.
And it's everybody talks about it.
Clearly
Everybody talks about how awesome Yama is.
We should organize a trip out there. Yeah. Go train with Yama.
I would say if you are going to Los Angeles, maybe don't.
Everybody we've talked to have said it
huge.
Sucks.
I used to live there, actually.
Enormous.
Oh.
It is like,
yeah,
and it's like it's a city. Like if you go to a city on the East Coast, they're like, they grew over hundreds of years, and it's all like, there might be stuff that's like there's a packed city center and then it sprawls. No, Los Angeles is designed for
it's
one
just all
thing.
sprawl.
There's one thing it's designed for, and that is the American automobile. And
Yeah.
you'll be in them for hours every day, going anywhere. And gas is like $8 a gallon. But either way, if you were to go to a sumo camp, then maybe I would go to Los Angeles again. But either way.
Well, see, that's why I was saying we should organize a trip. That way we can pin all the driving on one person and the rest of us don't have to.
There we go.
Bingo. Oh, man. Okay, but despite all my blathering about Los Angeles, we do have a clear winner. And this award is going to go to Delatore Backyard Sumo.
Yahoo!
I love it. A club with 3 members. Do they have any?
All brothers.
All brothers.
Yeah.
Is it just Angel, Gil, and Javier?
Yeah, and they're all brothers, and they just go up there in the backyard and wrestle each other.
Oh, man.
But man, they have the hardware, they have the technique. They're seriously everywhere. Like almost
and they have the training with Yama too. They've trained with Yama.
They have, yeah.
Yeah.
They go train with Yama. Sometimes they train to go to San Diego. Sometimes next year, Angel said he wants to just go like to every club he can and just train with people.
Oh, right on.
Hell yeah.
And you know what, man? If you got your own T-shirt, you count as your own separate club. So that's how we're doing
Done.
it. Hell yeah. And one more thing on them. I don't remember the specifics well enough to say the whole story, but a lot of the reason that those guys got into sumo is their brother was like the real guy who got into it the most. And when he passed away, they were finally like, you know what? Yes, we got to try it out.
Let's do this.
And that's as good of a origin story as there can be, right?
Also, Angel is a huge One Piece fan, so we bonded over that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you would not believe how many interviews we've done where like there's a half an hour of unrecorded stuff of just talking about anime.
It is just outstanding.
So now we got to talk about the new Chainsaw Man anime.
No, we don't, because we got a lot
yes,
left
we
to
do.
go.
Yes. Okay, so here's
It's almost 10:30, for God's sake.
here's a list of 10 reasons why it's my new favorite anime.
All right, go ahead and mute the sumo punks real quick. But no, we got one more award before we take a quick break for another bonus category. But we wanted to do a Wrestler of the Year in the youth category.
Ooh.
So this one, there's only been the Consulates Cup and the Ronin tournament that have done like actual youth divisions so far. So there's not a ton of guys to pick from, but I wanted to shout out a few specifics. From the Consulates Cup, the winner of the younger division. Shoot, Caleb, what is that? Kids under 10 years old.
Yes.
In the under 10 years old, we had Mountain Dew Eric.
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew.
He was wearing like this just obnoxiously green Mountain Dew t-shirt.
It was
hilarious.
gorgeous. I loved it.
But he was just like, he didn't really know exactly what he was supposed to do, but once he was pointed in the right direction, he was like targeted. and then he was just like, hell yeah, and just went all about it.
If nothing else, he should win the Youth Fighting Spirit prize.
Yes. Mountain Dew
Yeah, no
Eric.
kidding.
Mountain Dew Eric.
We also had Chris in the kids 10 to 15 division at Consulates Cup. Is that Elizabeth's kid?
No, stepmom though.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So the cool thing is Mountain Dew Eric, Chris, and Gabe, who got second place in the above 10 at Constance Cup, all brothers.
Oh,
wow.
I didn't know Eric was one of them too.
A silver and another gold. All got.
Wow.
They medaled in that. And I was like, cool. We got a new Delatorre group coming up.
Yeah, just wait till they start their own backyard dojo.
No,
Yo.
hang on to them for Mighty Eagle. Keep them under your roof. Raise them, protect them, train them. And the other event that had an official youth division was the Ronin Sumo tournament, which we had Aston and Arden, another set of brothers. They're Al's kids. Al, one of the veterans who
Al Alexander.
yes, took
From
a
Ronin
little
Sumo
bit
Band.
of time off for injury. But he's been coming back training with Brandon McLeod out there at Ronin. And his sons Aston and Arden did a great job at that.
Oh,
tournament.
hell yeah. Those
Aston-
kids are mean.
Aston in particular won the youth division and then also decided to wrestle at lightweight with the rest of the grown-ups and still got a third place medal.
Yeah.
So very impressive there. And then also Iron Mountain Sumo. We got to shout out Ben, my blood
Definitely have to
rival.
shout out Ben.
the only man I have bested in the octagon.
In the
The
octagon.
octagon.
No, it is the octagon. The clay dojo
The
we
squared
wrestled in
circle.
wasn't quite perfectly circular. It's kind of no.
And then
The
went
square
home and
circle.
started his own club.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So yes, the shame and motivation of losing to me was enough to get Iron Mountain. No,
Fair. That's fair.
Ben is like 13. So like my running joke is that I beat him once and I probably shouldn't wrestle him anymore because he's going to get bigger and stronger every time we meet and I'm going to get older and fatter. So, my days are numbered. But Ben went down to compete at the Ronin tournament and took silver in lightweight there. And I really love, go check out their Instagram page for Iron Mountain. There's pictures of him wrestling and training with guys like Mark Jones and Packy Ben Evans. And yeah, like that club is less than 2 months old and they are already just traveling everywhere they can and having a blast with it. And Ben is definitely one of the youth competitors that deserves a big shout out here.
Hell yeah. He got to train with Raijin as well. So Edebo and Eric
Yeah.
are trying to, instill some skill into him. And I think that kid's definitely going to grow up to be a powerhouse. So
Yeah.
I
Jake,
hope
he
I
will
hope he
find
sticks
you.
with sumo.
And he's really
he will
good
come
at
to a
drawing
tournament
guitars.
and find you.
He's going to sneak up behind me and tie a mawashi on me and then throw me to the ground. But no, and despite our rivalry, I think my vote has to go to Ben. I think
Yeah.
the enthusiasm that he and his mom Kaylin have shown in getting a club started from complete scratch and doing the thing, traveling, wrestling, just get ring time and finding these guys that have experience and just get that exposure and train with them. He's doing the right thing, and I'm optimistic. I think that's going to be a club to watch in the near future.
Oh yeah, I came into this knowing it was Ben for me.
It's
Yeah.
been for me too,
Okay,
because
okay.
everyone else has like a family member or a parent who's already doing sumo. Ben just decided sumo's his thing now.
Well,
and
I mean, he's got his mom who like is a huge fan.
Yeah,
But you're right.
yeah.
But you're right. That's not the same thing, though.
Yeah, and to start your own club after, going to your first tournament, I mean, especially at 13, that's
Yeah,
just, that's
that's-
very commendable.
That's DIY. That's punk.
Yes.
rock.
yeah, that shit's punk rock.
Yeah, so- and the fact that he got to train, with like a lot of like highly skilled dudes is like, it's like, yeah, this kid's got it. And he trains with, what's her name, Jennifer? Is that the
Jennifer, yeah,
Yeah.
I believe
Yes.
it's his cousin or but yeah, another member of Iron Mountain who did really good at the Ronin sumo tournament.
Yeah, she's mean. So I mean, the fact that he trains with her, that means he's gonna be mean too. So like,
Yeah.
I'm really stoked to see how he grows.
She's huge and from what we saw, very difficult to move.
Powerful. Oh
So
yeah.
like
she's
he's got a great Butsukari partner to
Hell
build
yeah.
up that strength for sure. Mac and Caleb, you guys, what are you guys thinking?
Nope. Anybody that can challenge you in a ring, anybody that has the potential to come up
Challenge
behind
me.
you and throw a mawashi on and just be like, "It's on." I'm like, nope, you get my vote. No, it's
Yeah, sure.
the fact that he started his own club after just one tournament. I'm like, you got
Pretty
it. kid."
fun, right? Yeah. Caleb?
For me, I'm going a little differently. I knew I was going to be the only person that voted for Chris Salazar, but that's just because I've wrestled him and Justin Kizert's wrestling him, and all we can think of is, holy crap, this kid is good. The insanity, and I'm talking about he's athletic. I'm not talking about that because I've seen big, strong kids, and I'm talking about like you tell this kid one thing, and he just starts doing it. Oh, hey, when you get someone to the edge, it's good to hop them out. So you just kind of get down underneath them and hop them out. And then he just started doing it the very next match. And we're like, holy crap. And everything we tell him, he's like, no, I got that. I'll start doing that.
He's too coachable. He's dangerous.
It is unbelievably insane. And both me and Justin are like, oh, I can't wait. We can't wait till he gets older. He's only like 13. I think he just turned 14. We're like, oh my God, he's going to start killing people. We're so excited.
That's so cool.
I'm going that one vote against the grain and hitting Chris Salazar.
Hey, absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
I think for me, if one of the issues with this category is familiarity, just because we don't have it.
Right.
We just don't
I
have
was
a
gonna
ton of
say-
youth yet. We'll get there.
I was gonna say that Aston and Arden are freaking powerhouses. Those kids are
They are.
dangerous. They seriously just have like that warrior's fucking vision. I don't know what to call it. They have the
Yeah.
fist eye.
They're probably going to end up winning a lot of adult categories after a few
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're absolutely gonna be in the conversation with guys like Brandon and who's the other Iron Wave guy, Tyler, like the other Florida lightweights when they put on tournaments. Like Aston already has wins over like adult lightweights. Like he's going places. And if you watch the broadcast of the Ronin Sumo tournament, there's a third brother who's like maybe like 7. And
he was
every
awesome.
single time there was a break, he and Mark Jones's kid would just dive in there and do sumo moves on each other, and actually like sumo moves. Like they were they were imitating their dads and their brothers and just actually wrestling. It was so cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
But no, like I think like the reason that it's been for me is starting his own club, training,
Right.
traveling to train with the powerhouses, and then kid's he's got the fire in his eyes.
For sure.
But he's got moxie. But no, Chris Salazar for sure. Like, I'm really hoping that they could make it to the teams tournament, Iron Mountain, because Kalen had mentioned something about possibly maybe trying to make it to the Mighty Eagle teams tournament. But if she does, I really want to see Ben go up
tune
against
in
Chris
for that
Salazar. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So here's to getting maybe 3 or 4 events with youth tournaments in the next year. That'd be awesome.
Yes.
So, as much as it physically pains me to say it, Ben is our youth wrestler of the year for 2020.
Ben is my rival. Ben is my rival.
But this is the last time. Okay, so we're gonna do a quick bonus category here. I have been doing some thorough research on on US Sumo and like what as many matches as I can record, like the results from that. I have most of the year blocked down, so I was making a list here, and I wanted to give a special shout out to everybody who went to a tournament and did not drop a single match. So the Zensho Award, we have 9 winners of this award this year. So I'm going to go the guys that went and did one division and went undefeated. We've got Andrew Roden, who went undefeated at Sumo Dan's All-American Sumo Classic. Madison Gwynn at the Houston Open went undefeated. Kamal Basira and Jared Tadlock at the Cowboy Cup. They only did their own weight class. They didn't do open weight in addition, but they went undefeated in their weight class. So all four of those went undefeated in one division at a tournament, but we do have 5 people that went 2 divisions and still didn't drop a match.
Holy shit.
Starting the year off, we had Cornelius at the Mighty Eagle team tournament. His team didn't win the gold, but nobody beat Corny that day. He won every match that was put in front of him. He took the win home. So hats off to Corny there. At the Consulates Cup, we actually had 2, Gilberto Della Torre and Kellyanne Ball, both knocked out heavyweight and open weight without dropping a match. At the Beer City Sumo Open, Darius Campbell went heavyweight and open weight, and he was the only guy to take a match off Edibo all day long, and he beat him twice to knock him out of the open weight. And then also Mark Jones, we brought him up. Mark Jones went undefeated at the Iron Belly, going dual golds there. So big props to those guys for going an entire day without stepping foot outside the dojo. Very, very impressive and very difficult to do.
Mm-hmm.
But why don't we move on to our final 2 awards, the prestigious American Sumo Wrestler of the Year Award. We have our men's division, and then after that, we'll do the women's division. But for men's, I have a fleshed out list of 5 guys here. You guys, by all means, feel free to add nominees. But I have a list of 5 guys and a short version of their achievements. So, any questions, or should I just start rambling here?
Do the rambling.
Okay. Ramble away. So, in the men's Wrestler of the Year category, my first nominee is Mark Jones. Mark Jones got heavyweight and openweight gold at the Iron Belly, went undefeated on the day. At the Ronin Sumo tournament just a couple weeks ago, he got openweight gold and heavyweight silver. So he only ever dropped any matches all year long to Jordan Sykes. Yeah, right. Who also, it's criminal that he has not been mentioned so far this episode, because he is also like.
I mean, as someone that does believe the children are our future, Jordan Sykes is seriously. I mean, he's almost of legal age now, almost. And when he does,
he might be, because I don't know. Either way, at the very least, 17. He's no more. He's what?
He's 17.
He's 17? Really? I thought he was 18 by now.
When he got 3rd at Nationals, that first tournament you went to, he was 16 years old.
Yeah, he was 16. I remember that.
Wow.
Yeah, trained with Soslan.
He's so good, we didn't even put him in the youth thing. That's how good he is.
Yeah, exactly. He's so good, it didn't even occur to me that he would be in the youth division, because
he's too good.
Because he's one of the top 2 wrestlers in Florida.
The
other being Mark Jones, and it's only in official competition that Mark Jones has had his number this year. Both of them tell me in practice they are much closer to even, but in official competition at the Iron Belly, and they split the series at Ronin, but they are very much on the same level. But Mark has got to be our nominee from Florida for this year, because he has had slightly more success at the official tournaments. But yes, so I got Mark Jones there. I got Jose Galindo out of Yamamoto Sumo Dojo. We mentioned it earlier. We've only seen a little bit of Jose, but what we've seen is obviously fantastic. Like the only match he dropped all day long at Nationals, even including the team tournament, he lost 1 time to Angel. Other than that, he went undefeated and just burnt through the heavyweight, openweight, and team divisions. So he went home with 3 gold medals from Nationals, and he also did very well. He got heavyweight silver and openweight bronze at the US Open in September.
which is much harder because that's a big international tournament.
Yes,
Mhm.
that
Not
that
just the
one
Americans.
that is the real piece here. Like the only people that beat him are guys that are like from Mongolia or I think it was just Mongolian guys that beat him. But either
Yeah, I
way,
think so, this
Either
year.
way.
either way, that is a huge feather in the cap to get any wins at the US Open. That's a big deal. We also have Edibo on this list. Edibo,
Oh yeah.
this is going to be a little bit, but let me list off a couple of the medals that he's gotten just in the last 3 months. So he got lightweight gold and open weight fourth at the Consulates Cup. He got lightweight gold, middleweight gold, and open weight silver at Beer City. He got open weight silver at Sumo Dan's, open weight bronze at Houston, and he went all the way to Switzerland to get a lightweight and open weight bronze. So he's probably got the sheer quantity of medals on lockdown for the
Mhm.
year. We also have Jared Tadlock as a nominee for Wrestler of the Year. The Texas State champion, Jared Tadlock. He got light heavyweight gold at Cowboy Cup, light heavyweight silver at Consulates, only losing to Eric out of Rygen. He got open weight gold at Houston, and that's the big feather in his cap because that was not an easy field. He went up against Edibo. He went up against Kyle Ferreter. There were some big names at Houston, and he was able to take that open weight division. And my fifth nominee is Kyle Ferreter.
Kyle Ferreter.
Yeah.
Despite being unable to compete at nationals, he was still there, doing everything he could to help sumo. But his list of medals is also not very short either. He got fourth at Sumo Dan's, and then he got heavyweight silver and open weight gold at the Cowboy Cup, heavyweight silver and open weight bronze at Consulates, and he got open weight silver in Houston, only losing to Jared. So those are my 5 guys that I've brought the receipts to, back up why I'm nominating them. Anybody you guys think I missed, or do you guys want to go straight into the debate here?
I'm ready to jump in whenever you guys are.
Yep, I'm good with the debate. I think this is a good,
a
solid
good
list
list.
here.
We could go forever adding people, but it's just this is a good list. Let's just go from here.
Sounds good. So we got Jose, Edibo, Jared, Kyle, and Mark.
You know, kick off there, Caleb?
I'm gonna kick it off here. Originally, my thought would be Jose because how good he is. He's straight up, in my opinion, the best U.S. wrestler at the moment. He's just that good. However, when you're reading off like their accomplishments, and we're going for this year, I think Edibo is gonna hit it's gonna be Edibo for me because that is so much accomplished, and it was only the second half of the year. The first half of the year, he didn't really do anything because after Vegas and last year in December, he didn't do anything until like the second half of the year. And to accomplish that much, my God, man, I don't, I don't think I could travel that much less get that many medals during while I'm traveling. So
Yeah.
that's my pick, man. I really love to say Kyle because I love watching Kyle wrestle and how good he is. And Jose, I've already said, and the improvement of Jarrett was insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, Edibo seems to have killed it this year. I think it was his year.
I'd have to jump on that bandwagon as well. Just the amount of travel that he's done, the massive improvement, just the showing that he's made. It's, I no offense to any of these other guys on here, but holy crap.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, for guys that are below heavyweight, you kind of have to give slight bonus points to open weight accomplishments, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, whether or not that's entirely fair, it's really Sumo Dan's event was an all-star game.
Mhm.
And Edibo got silver in an open weight. That's so cool.
And he beat Kyle
And he beat Kyle.
Yeah.
to do that. Kyle then got fourth, I think, in Sumo Dan's American thing. And I'm like, you beat Kyle? That's
Holy
man.
shit.
Yep. Yeah, Kyle beat him, and then Edibo got his revenge with a leg pick.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that Edibo is just a Terminator that came back from the future, but instead of destroying Sarah Connor, he destroys American sumo wrestlers
Watch it.
because he's some
TV.
sort of machine. He's not human. He was specifically built and designed for doing sumo, gooder than anyone else. So that he's got to be my pick too, and the mustache. I mean, come on.
Oh, spot on. Yeah.
All right, yeah, I go with Edibo too. Although I will say that seeing the growth of Jared Tadlock, from the inside, like being a part of the Dallas team, it's just awesome to see just how much he's just kind of like, what's the word? He's become more defined.
He's blossomed.
He's blossomed. but to see that growth, witnessing it, being a teammate, that is really fucking badass, and I'm super fucking proud of Jared, and I'm like, it's just an honor to be a teammate with him, But I mean, if we're just talking about like a legend on everyone's lips, if we're just talking about
everybody's talking about Edibor.
Yeah, if there's a tournament somewhere and people say, "Oh, he's gonna be there," everyone's like, "All right, we're watching it."
Oh man, that's a really good point. Like, what one name would you see on there to be like, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Now I get
Right.
I was now you have my attention. And if we're putting it that way, like I was honestly, I came into this thinking Jose, because like Caleb said, I think if you had an open weight tournament of everyone in the country, Jose would probably be my pick. But the sample size is just so small, and it definitely hurts him that he's only been to 2 events, despite kicking so much ass at them. And then as we started this discussion, I started thinking Jared. Because like Jared, again, you got to give those bonus points for being smaller than a heavyweight, but winning an open weight division.
Mm-hmm.
But goddamn, you guys, yeah, it's got to be Edibo, right?
Oh yeah.
This year, yeah.
You got to look at it as this year. And yes, Jared had that growth, but Edibo didn't need that growth.
No,
he just showed up and was already there.
Did it.
He accomplished a lot in a very short amount of time.
Yeah. Like I almost forget that stuff happened before September, because like there's like the BE era and there's like the before Edibo era. Yeah. And I mean, like, it's not like we didn't see it coming at all, because like he did do so well in Vegas, but when he showed up back at Consulates, it's like, oh yeah, I remember that guy.
I remember this guy,
that, right? And then what he did.
It was like, oh, holy shit, I remember this guy.
Core field of wrestlers, yeah. Dang. No, I think this one's going to be unanimous.
Yeah, I think
that's our first unanimous vote.
one.
Actually, no, our other unanimous one was also Edibo for outstanding performance.
Oh, okay.
Well.
It's Edibo again.
I gotta say, if Jose had one more tournament, and did his normal Jose thing, I probably would have picked him, because he's that good of a wrestler. If he shows up to 3 or 4 tournaments next year and just does what he does, I'm gonna pick him. He's the best. He is straight up the best. But what Edibo did this year was just fantastic.
Yeah.
I believe he can make it to pro. I absolutely believe that.
It's gonna be hard because of his age.
It'll be tough, but if anybody can do it, I think it'd be him.
Yeah,
Jock's had a good idea. They said that he should look into trying to get a college
university.
Yeah.
So he can do that for 1 year to 3 years, and then it's gonna be easier for him to get picked up at that point.
Yep. And if you see him wrestle and you see like the refined technique that he's got, you would not guess it, but he did need other people to buy his drinks for him.
Yes.
When we were at Consulates Cup. He's only, I think he's still only 20. Like he is also borderline in our youth division. Okay, so yes, congratulations to Edibo, our dual award winner for outstanding performance and men's wrestler of the year.
Yay!
Hell yeah,
Mustache
that was
power.
a strong field, and I'm glad that discussion led us to a full consensus there. That's awesome. Now, women's wrestler of the year, we have I got 4 nominees for you, and again, I've got all the stats here. So let me go through real quick. Lady Galindo, similar to Jose, not a huge sample size, but she did do very well. So she was on Team USA as a heavyweight. She got a win there. And then at Nationals, she got open weight gold and heavyweight silver. The only person she lost to was Kellyanne. But that was the only, we did also see her at the US Open. But that one didn't go as well for her. But so again, small sample size, but very good results. Now, on the opposite end of the sample size spectrum, we have Esty Webster. Esty, I'm nominating for being at more events than any other women's wrestler this year. She and Nicole, who, spoilers, is the next nominee. She and Nicole were at more events than any other women, but the one difference was Esty made it to the Ronin tournament and Nicole did not. So Esty has been, Esty and Nicole were by far the most present and the most quantity of matches, and Esty took home a buttload of medals for it. So at the Texas Classic early in the year, she got open weight gold and heavyweight silver. At the Wins tournament, she got open weight bronze. She probably would have gotten a medal as well in heavyweight, but I remember she was only there for part of the day. At the Cowboy Cup, she got open weight bronze. At Houston, she also got open weight bronze. And then at the Ronin Sumo tournament, she got open weight bronze and heavyweight gold. So yeah, she was all over the place and has more total medals than any other woman this year. Now, Nicole is, she did not make it to quite as many tournaments as Esty, but she's the Texas state champ. So
hey, that helps.
yeah, there you go. I think that that kind of evens the score there. She got open weight silver at the Consulates Cup, open weight silver at the Cowboy Cup, heavyweight gold and open weight silver at the Win, and heavyweight gold and open weight silver at the Texas Classic. So yeah, coming home with plenty of medals, but that Texas state champ is that's a big one. And then last nominee, Kellyanne Ball out of Yamamoto Sumo Dojo, you ladies' teammate. Heavyweight gold and open weight gold at Consulates. As I mentioned, she did not drop a match that day. Heavyweight gold and open weight silver at Nationals, only losing to Yelady. Those two basically went, punch for punch all day long. And she was also on Team USA as a heavyweight. For Kellyanne and Yelady, by the way, there's a spectacular picture of the two of them high-fiving after one of their gold medal matches.
I love that.
Yeah, you guys know which one I mean? Yeah, it's on Facebook and Instagram somewhere, but yeah, it's awesome. It's a very like spirit of sumo kind of moment.
Yeah.
But similar to our conversation for men's, we're kind of balancing Nicole and Esty being everywhere versus Yelady and Kellyanne having like the higher peaks. Is kind of where I'm at. But what are you guys thinking? What things are you taking into consideration, and where are you leaning early on here in the discussion?
For me, I have to say my pick immediately right off the bat. I already know mine, Kellyanne Ball. She's like, other than just being completely fucking just her technique, her skill, just her fighting spirit, her drive, everything. She has it all, total package. Was on Team USA. Any tournament that she goes to, she is definitely she's a presence. Makes her presence known if she doesn't take home hardware, which she usually does.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about sheer numbers of hardware, I would dare say then Esty would definitely be a really close second. But just see and to see how that Kellyanne, she likes to nurture, other women wrestlers because I think it's because she has the bloodlust. She just wants to slaughter more skillful opponents. But I really like that. She really is, what's the word that she's nurturing, with some of the more newer women sumo wrestlers. I really like that.
Mentoring, fostering.
Yeah, mentoring. Thank you.
All the good things.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I'd have to say that would be my pick as well, although again, SD would be another choice for me. But yeah, I have to go for Kellyanne just because of really like the relationship that Matt's had with her and Brenda Velasco and how supportive they've been.
Brenda,
those
also
two
another
those
amazing
two are
person.
an awesome pair.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm and my personal bias,
they've been
Right.
very supportive of him, and they're very supportive of just a lot of people who are doing this, who are dedicating their lives to amateur sumo. So I got to go with Kellyanne too.
Yeah, Mac or Caleb, you gonna bust it up because I'm not gonna get in the way of this. Round.
I'm torn. I'm so torn.
Yeah, I would say if I had to pick rivalry of the year, I think Esty and Nicole is one of them for me.
Yeah.
But like if
Ooh,
we're
we
talking,
should add that in next year. That's a good idea.
Ooh,
Yeah,
rivalry
we
of
should.
the
Totally.
year. I like that.
That's a pretty good idea.
New award category.
I vote Ben and Jake. Rivalry of the year.
Yeah, hey, if I retire now, I retire in the lead. So you know,
Revenge.
but no, I think seeing Kellyanne at nationals and at the Consulates Cup against Esty and Nicole, even though they have the volume, I think the fact that Kellyanne just steamrolls through everyone, except for you lady, you know, I think that puts her in the lead for me. Tiebreaker being that Kellyanne was at more tournaments. So like that's why I'm sticking with her.
Yeah.
All right, so I got a lot of reasons to go here. I met Kellyanne in 2019. We both went to our first nationals together. So I met her and Brenda there in Philadelphia, and I don't think most people know she never got a gold medal until nationals this year.
Oh,
That was
wow.
her very first gold medal, and she went from that getting her first gold medal ever at nationals to ending in Consulates Cup where she just destroyed everybody. And that is one hell of a year, even if it's only like 3 tournaments, 1, 2, 3, 4 tournaments technically. Plus, you know, one of the 3 girls that got wins at USA, that's I had to put that in there too. She came into her own. And she was good to begin with, but she came into her own this year. And so for that, I'm picking Kellyanne as well. As much as I would like to pick Nicole, but Nicole had a drop off at the end of the year. Must I like to pick Esty because she had a rise up at the end of the year, which was awesome. But you know, Esty's at the beginning of the year wasn't that great, and Nicole wasn't that great at the end of the year. And your lady, just like Jose, just wanted a bigger sample size. That's all. She was great. She got a win at USA. She got a Kimidashi on somebody, which is always awesome to see. So, but Kellyanne did it. Go Kelly.
Mac, anything to add there?
Well, no, I am more impressed with Esty. As much as I love Kellyanne, Nicole's been fantastic. Your lady's been great, but I want to give this to Esty because she started off rough. She's still relatively new. She kept training. She kept fighting. She kept coming back again and again and again, and has had that ramp up toward the end. I am looking forward to seeing what she can do in 2023. So for me, Women's Wrestler of the Year, Esty. Sorry, doesn't matter. I've been outvoted.
Like I said, Esty was my second.
she was my
pick,
second.
and I can definitely see her for 2023. So
Yeah.
I'm on board with you there, but still, first pick is Kellyanne.
Yeah,
Fair.
I will
Nope,
say
fair.
I was looking it up in the background here, and here, let me see if I can get the Houston tournament is the one that I don't have logged yet, but I can give you the 2022 rivalry between Esty and Nicole.
Oh yeah.
The final numbers. I don't remember who won at Houston, but it is.
Esty won at Houston. I'm pretty sure.
I'll have it in just a second here, but yeah, like
Okay.
that's probably the matchup that we saw most often this year, more than what else would be in that conversation? Maybe Aerie versus Liesel is another one that we've seen a bunch of times.
Mark Jones versus
Jordan Sykes.
Versus
Hell
Jordan
yeah,
Sykes
that's
be a
great.
good one. Mark
But
Jones
there-
versus Kyle Farrader is another good one.
Matt versus everyone.
Yeah, Matt
Matt
Jim
versus the
Caleb.
world.
Matt Jim versus Caleb. That's my rivalry.
No. That's I call that the heartbreaker because I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And what was the other guy that down in Houston that you had the
Oh,
rivalry?
Paul.
Yeah, Paul.
Yeah.
Or was it Paul? I thought it was somebody else, and then it was Paul.
Yeah, it was. But they announced him as Gordon, but he goes by Pearson.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's injured, so Paul had to pick up the rivalry for him.
Yeah, Paul Gutierrez stood in place for
I
him.
like to say something about our rivalry, Matt. It is heartbreaking to me that every time I walk into the ring with you, I hear a big chant of Sumo PUNX, Sumo PUNX. You know what? My podcast ain't bad.
I like your
But
podcast.
Sake Sumo.
Wait, all right, so we need to get some chants going
Well,
whenever
that's
these
where you
guys
went
go in
wrong.
the ring.
You got a less chantable name. Same with Grand Sumo Breakdown. It just doesn't really work very well.
No, not quite.
Okay,
GSP,
final numbers. GSP, there it is. So final numbers. It's 4-7 in favor of Nicole. In 2022. We saw them match up 11 times, and Nicole got the better of it. But you're right. Esty got 2 wins. 2 of her 4 were at the Texas Classic, but then the other 2 were at the Consulates Cup and Houston. So yeah, SD was picking up a little bit towards the later end of the year, but either way, yeah, absolutely one of the rivalries to watch. But congratulations to Kellyanne Ball, the official American Sumo Women's Wrestler of the Year. So yeah, that just about does it. Oh wait, I'm sorry. There's one more surprise award I'm being handed by the producers here. This one is actually
Oh no!
This one is Podcast of the Year.
Oh,
let me see.
Wait a minute. I thought we weren't doing that.
The nominees are Sumo Kaboom, Sumo Punks, Sake and Sumo, and Grand Sumo Breakdown. So let's see who had the best 2022 among the podcasts. And it is actually, you're not going to believe this. This is a three-way tie.
Oh.
The three-way tie between Sumo Punks, Sumo Kaboom, and Sake and Sumo. How cool is that?
What?
Yeah.
Bravo. Well done, guys. Well done.
I'd like to thank
I'm
Satan
sorry. I'm being
and my mom.
I'm being told there was an error in calculations. That was
Ah, shit.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a three-way tie for second best.
Oh.
Let's face it, guys,
Your material.
As Sumo Kaboom is, we try our best with those girls.
So congratulations to Grand Sumo Breakdown and all the other entrants for Sumo Podcast of the Year.
And this was how
It's
the
rigged.
friendship ended with all the sumo podcasts.
And this is how we all stopped being friends.
I think there was some payola involved there. I don't trust it.
I want to talk to the producers.
Let me go grab my wife real quick. Oh man. Well, yeah, that'll just about do it.
I'm almost out of beer.
And I just finished my several fingers of bourbon. I wasn't counting.
I'm running dry as well.
So I guess that means that let's reload and then go for the second half, right?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
You all need to tell me how good I look in that Mawashi photo.
Oh,
I
man.
saw it actually. I wasn't gonna mention anything, but I did see it, and I gotta say, that's a great pose for that photo.
Thank you very much.
That would be the Instagram post when.
Oh,
we put
yeah,
this
that's-
episode up.
Someone send that to me.
I love that.
Hell
Oh, it's
yeah.
it's down in the file. If you're looking at the
Yeah, scroll down on the outline.
scroll
you'll
down,
see
it's
it
the very
there.
last page.
But,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Included that as a little nugget.
despite the
Oh.
second place finish, I do want to mention that you can find these other runner-up podcasts on all of your favorite podcast listening services. Find all of us on YouTube. We got the Sumo Kaboom YouTube channel, Grand Sumo Breakdown YouTube channel, and Sumo Punks YouTube channel. Caleb, you guys put yours on Lone Star Sumo, though, right?
That is correct.
Yes, find Sake and Sumo on Lone Star Sumo YouTube channel, or just search Sake and Sumo. It's gonna come up.
Sake and Sumo's gonna come up. Also, Breakfast in a Basho with Justin live. If you ever want to watch that, or you can watch it after he's done live. Every day the Basho, he will eat breakfast and watch the Basho, and you can watch it with him.
It's great. I love
Yeah,
it.
right on.
I haven't seen it yet.
Because
Yeah.
whenever I work at a phone job, and between calls I get to watch YouTube videos, and we have like really strict filtering, but his breakfast in a basho is one of the only things that comes through that I can watch. And
I
I
gotta
with
check
the
that
Lone Star
out.
Sumo. Hopefully, it still keeps coming through.
So I get to eat my cereal while watching, him eat breakfast and
Yeah.
watch the basho. It's great.
Zombie
Yeah,
Mommy's on there every day. It's
Yay.
awesome.
Keep an eye out.
I vote for her for best sumo fan.
Yes.
There you go.
2022.
So yeah, that's another category. Next year we got to add best
Sumo
rivalry. And we
fans.
got to add best fan.
And that's
Okay.
not just because she sent us a giant box of stuff today.
Yeah.
Where's our giant box of stuff, huh?
Hey, that's right.
Hey, we're sending a reciprocal
God.
box of stuff.
Honestly, it's probably because I beat the crap out of her kid that time. So.
Wait, she doesn't have to send it to you. She can send it to me. She can send it to
I'm sorry,
me.
I beat the crap out of the youth wrestler of the year.
You bully.
All right. Well, we
Does
should
that make
probably
you the
call it
youth
here.
wrestler of the year now, Jake?
Ooh.
I like the sound of that actually.
In the
You just
30
stroked
plus
your facial hair while you were
category.
saying that.
I know.
Yeah. As
Also,
if I could grow any of this
congratulations to
before I was
you.
30.
Congratulations congratulations to you for becoming a dad this year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also,
dang
yes.
it. That's who the youth sumo wrestler of the year should have been. Yeah, no, we'll talk a little bit more about my rookie of the year who just arrived on the GSB Pro Sumo End of the Year award show.
Yes.
So keep an eye out for that. But also keep an eye out for American Sumo, the December newsletter issue. I feel like you can probably understand why it's a bit delayed this month, but I am working on it. Getting our awards handled for amateur sumo was a big part of that. So that's going to be a feature of the next newsletter. And if you are one of the award winners and I haven't reached out to you by the time you're listening to this, give me a kick in the ass because I should have by now.
Drive to Iowa, find him at his house, and literally kick him in the ass.
Unless you're Ben, because I'm afraid of his revenge. But why don't we call it there for the night? Thank you guys for joining us so much. We got Mac from Grand Sumo Breakdown. We got Caleb from Sake and Sumo. We got Matt and Sabrina from Sumo Punks.
Ah!
I knew that was I knew there was a yell break there. And I am Jake from Grand Sumo Breakdown. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and feel free to reach out. We want to have fan involvement next year. Let's get
Absolutely.
more people
Yes.
nominees and stuff. It looks like Caleb's frozen again.
Then
so
just
maybe
more
this is a
He
good
froze
time to
again,
end it.
Caleb!
Oh
Oh no! Oh, okay, we got to stop recording and see if we can get somebody to go save Caleb.
no! Oh no!
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. Until next time,
Throw your salt high.
and keep moving forward.